I think it's time for the so-called content nuke from Ryan Beard about Destiny. And I heard from Mike that it was pretty good, and I trust Mike's perspective on content. So I'm hype. Mike was right. I love that he coined that for himself. All right.
I don't wish to bring anybody any more harassment than they've already received, but you have to understand that at this point, I'm kind of being pushed into playing my entire hand. There will be no vague allegations today. There will be no mentions of nukes, only mushroom clouds. I went with the title, Kethels, a case study on internet terrorism and mass media manipulation. This is going to be a cataloging the past year, demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible, and what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only...
This is a very good screenshot to put in. Kill yourself, you I hope you get I'll just say it. With a shovel until you bleed out your and die. Holy, and then ask the person from 2015.
Only bad targets. This is going to be a careful documentation of lies. I'm not running around screen sharing people's nudes. I'm not having secret recordings to be in my apartment. Bro, I'll talk about anything all the time ever. Are we serious?
So then the question stands, did you Lauren Southern?
Scams. Every single person on the internet that is pushing NFTs is just trying to find a bigger sucker. You can basically buy and sell, or you can buy and sell like Twitch clips, and you get an NFT that you can get autographed by the streamer. And you know what? If you buy it, I can go right up here and click autograph, and I can sign whatever NFT you want me to sign, okay? Threats, bullying, want me to sign, okay? Threats, bullying.
You're hopping into a bandwagon of people and accusing me of being a apologist because you're still upset that I bullied you off the internet.
Doxing. I literally just doxed that girl. The one that threatened to throw egg on me like a week or two ago. Like, I don't give a fuck about like doxing. And an utter lack of accountability.
Molina recently confirmed that the sex tapes leaked by Destiny's former
Jesus Christ.
girl were shared by Destiny without her consent.
Good one, nice.
If she has no legal recourse.
And I've got a whole bunch of super chats for you. Wick, ready?
Okay.
Over the years, I've worried about the types of tactics endorsed by progressive communities. The uncomfortable distorting of narratives. Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. Like, it sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just drop its borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like, that's about where I'm at. The grotesque shape-shifting of facts. Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly sext like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming. The general inability to hold themselves to a decent standard of behavioral conduct. The rioting.
This is, okay, I am gonna say it. Ethan Klein, take some notes, because this is what your nuke was supposed to look like. God, dude, this is pretty well edited. For Ryan Beard to take a manifesto that was written by Destiny and then show that all of these things that he holds other people to are not at all important for him in a personal manner or like in his personal life. Fuck, dude. Oh my God.
Needs to stop. And if that means like white redneck militia dudes out there mowing down dipshit protesters that think that they could torch buildings at 10 p.m., then at this point they have my blessing, because holy shit. It is the tale of an internet bully given far too much power.
Did you guys know that if a bitch breaks up with you and you send her nudes to everybody, even that's wrong, guys?
On a mission to seek fame and fortune.
So what's that look like revenue-wise? I think last time you said it was like 50K a month.
It's probably a little bit higher than that now, yeah.
By building a career through vicious conflict.
Actually kill yourself! Yes! Kill yourself!
We've allowed ourselves to gaze into the abyss for far too long.
Destiny
is the result.
On January 8th, 2025, the streamer Destiny's ex-wife Melina accused him of sharing pornographic videos of her without her consent to a 19-year-old young woman over Discord.
Something I can't, like, I'm not gonna go into detail of anything, but there's plenty of people that's wondering this, but I feel like this should be obvious. Nothing has happened with consent with anyone, not me and not anyone else. Like there's been no consent.
On January 21st, 2025, one of Destiny's close friends named Pixie accused him of also sharing pornographic videos of her without her consent. Destiny later revealed that this 19-year-old he had sent these pornographic videos to had allegedly been hacked, leading to these videos being leaked on the internet.
I think a friend of mine's account from that I talked to like 3 or 4 years ago ended up getting compromised, and you know, sometimes you just gotta roll with the memes. It is what it is. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Okay.
Later on that same day of January 21st, one of Destiny's previous close friends named Cherry not only accused Destiny of sharing a recording of them having sex without her consent, but also of recording her without her knowledge. Destiny has since admitted to sharing these sex tapes of Pixie and Melina without their consent. Cherry's allegation is still just an allegation, but she has recently filed a police report against Destiny. This is the story of Stephen Bennell II, a man given far too much power and the ways he has abused this power for his own personal gain. Hi, so this video has been a long time coming. I've been slowly collecting evidence about this man Destiny here for about 3 years now, and I don't know about you, but I think it's finally time to take this motherfucker down. Destiny is widely hated by a variety of communities across the internet for a variety of reasons. But no matter how hated Destiny became, he always had a strong army of sycophants that would defend him no matter what he did. However, recently, almost all of his orbiters have abandoned him. Orbiters are what he calls his friends who stream with him. Basically, the implication is that Destiny is this
Video link? Oh, could mods please pin this video? Thank you. With like the title and the person who made it, Ryan Beard.
Massive planet, and all of his friends are these little planets that orbit around him. This has created an ecosystem.
Which I have to say, man, isn't that telling on its own? Just like calling your own friends that stream with you orbiters.
Where most of Destiny's friends rely on Destiny's success for fame and money. And because most of these people rely on Destiny for money, they've done a remarkably good job at sweeping allegations against Destiny under the rug for years. However, these recent allegations against Destiny have been so egregious that the majority of even his most loyal orbiters have decided to leave his orbit. Now, barely anyone is still defending Destiny. One person who is still defending Destiny is Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, who recently decided to slut-shame Destiny's victims.
Where I go, I feel extremely violated with how so many people saw me non-consensually in a vulnerable position. I feel like people are always going to use this as proof that I slept my way to whatever achievement I garner. I feel like it's evidence that everything would be better with me gone. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Prixie, but you did sleep your way to the top. You know, you gotta call a spade here.
Even though Myron is
It's also like absurd. It's such an absurd notion because none of these so-called orbiters have ever actually received like financial gain. They might get temporary viewership, but every single one of these people, and you can go and check and take a look at this, all of these people will get maybe a temporary boost in numbers, but the second that they disagree ever, all of their viewers are loyal first and foremost to Destiny. Like all of them.
Is an absolutely insane anti-Semitic woman hater who stands for everything that Destiny claims to be against. Destiny says that he has more respect for Myron than for anyone else on the internet.
In all of my years, God, this feels so shitty. In all my years doing content, I have more respect for Myron than any.
Sorry, really quickly, I wanted to address a certain concept that I see gets thrown around a lot. I think it's by a lot of like purity leftists. I can't really tell if it's astroturfing by Destiny fans or if it's leftist purity testing, but I see this comment a frequent amount or a semi-frequent amount. You should feel deep shame for having a relationship with this man. No offense, just saying. My crime was, I already mentioned it, but like thinking that he was a good person in 19, back when he was still friends with everyone on Twitch, he was still friends with Hassan at the time. Do you think that anyone who's ever been friends with anyone bad ever should be held accountable forever? Is that not an absurd notion? Like, I've talked about this with regard to Pixie, and I want to, at the end of this, I would like to highlight Pixie's fundraiser because she is actively trying to pursue a lawsuit against him for sharing her, not even nudes, but pornographic content with other people that she did not consent to. And I've talked about it then, and I will talk about it now, but maybe someone even has the clip on it because it made its fucking rounds or whatever. My crime was just not having sex with him. And for someone like Destiny, the problem is just eventually you do something that crosses the line. For Pixie, it's that she wanted to pursue legal avenues against him. And after that point, that's it. You're public enemy number one. This is also just like, all this tells me is like, this is someone who just like doesn't have any friends, right? Because if you've ever had a friend ever, you know that sometimes the people that you become friends with aren't great people, and then you have to stop being friends with them.
Purity spirals because he had so much power. Also, I can't get the sun out of my head.
Yeah. Also, it seems a little crazy to blame like a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old for trying to befriend someone who's 30, who uses their power frequently to manipulate other people around them. That seems very weird to victim blame a person like that.
Any other individual.
Apparently, the amount of respect that Destiny has for you as a person is dependent on how willing you are to suck up to him.
He is the only person that I've seen that will consistently go into areas where there's so much like laughing and jokes and fun times to be had right here if he was shit on me, but he doesn't. He won't do it.
I have some level of empathy for Destiny's orbiters because it is difficult to be stuck in a position where you financially rely on someone who is not a great person, but I have basically no empathy for Destiny because I believe that Destiny is a massive piece of shit, and I will hopefully demonstrate why I feel that way in this video. In this video, I will go through nearly every harmful action that Destiny has committed over the years, and then allow you to come to your own conclusions on whether or not you think this is a person who deserves anyone's admiration or respect. Before we jump into Destiny's actions from across the years, I think I should take a little bit of time to dispel some possible well poisoning that Destiny or his community DGG could try to attack me with. The first accusation they might throw at me is that I'm obsessed with Destiny. This is an accusation they like to throw at anyone who criticizes Destiny. Personally, I don't think it makes me obsessed with Destiny that I've been researching him for the purpose of criticizing him. None of Destiny's fans accused me of being obsessed with Sneeko when I did a deep dive into Sneeko's harmful actions because they don't like Sneeko. But they probably will accuse me of being obsessed with Destiny because Destiny is their daddy. This is the first video I've ever made about Destiny, and it'll probably be about an hour and a half long. Compare that to the probably hundreds of hours that Destiny has spent on his stream criticizing Hassan. And I have nothing against Destiny criticizing Hassan, it would just be pretty hypocritical to accuse me of being obsessed with Destiny for making 1 hour and a half long video about him, while Destiny has talked about Hassan for hundreds of hours. Destiny has written multiple incredibly long manifestos criticizing creators like Vosh, Keffels, and Bob7, who Destiny believes have wronged him over the years. Although I find the label of manifesto a bit cringe, I see nothing inherent.
But also, that's his descriptor for it. Found you from H2 dorks that won't shut the fuck up about you. Turns out you're base as fuck. Aw, thanks, Mars. Thanks. Calling them manifestos is unhinged. It's a little insane. Mods, could I ask that you also link Pixie's fundraiser? I know she's talked about how this fundraiser is probably going to be much bigger than she might have intentionally known. And if you do want to donate to someone who will actively be trying to sue him in federal court and pressing charges, And if you think any of the stuff in this video is awful or horrendous, or that he should be held accountable for anything, I highly recommend donating to Pixie, because I believe her wholeheartedly when she says that she would like to press charges against him. Okay.
Wrong with Destiny writing manifestos to chronicle the bad behaviors of these creators. So, in the same way, I guess this will be my manifesto against Destiny. And if you have an issue with me making this manifesto, I hope you will stay logically consistent and also criticize Destiny for making manifestos about Vosh, Keffels, and Bob7. If I had to predict how Destiny himself would respond to this video, he would probably respond with something.
Also, Mike says that he's making sure that the money is well spent, and I trust Mike. Yes. I can say that I'm very certain that the money will be well spent, and I have reason to believe that we'll be getting documentation very soon. Because I think that Pixie is someone who has been personally involved in real political action. And I know she's tried for a very long time to bridge the gap between Twitch and political action, and she has tried to make this space a better place. It's also a very serious crime, but yeah, if you can afford to donate anything, and if this video sways you at all, I highly recommend donating to her lawsuit fund.
Similar to this tweet that he tweeted at me a couple years ago. You're hopping into a bandwagon of people accusing me of being a rape apologist because you're still upset that I bullied you off the internet a year ago. Don't play stupid. You know exactly what you're doing. To be honest, Destiny isn't 100% wrong here. I am jumping onto a bandwagon of people criticizing him, but I don't think that's an inherently bad thing to do. Destiny jumps onto bandwagons of people criticizing Hassan all the time. When Ethan Klein makes videos attacking Hassan, Destiny jumps onto the bandwagon. So when a bunch of people on the internet are criticizing Destiny right now for sharing women's sex tapes without their consent, hell yeah, I'm gonna jump onto the bandwagon and roast the shit out of him. With the way the internet works, criticisms against someone are more likely to stick when that person is actively engaged in a controversy. This is just how the internet is. So yes, I waited to make this video until you were in a possibly career-ending controversy because I knew that this would make more people listen to my criticism against you. Do you have a problem with that? You know how the internet works, Destiny. You jump onto bandwagons of criticizing people who are in controversies all the time. But now that the shoe's on the other foot, you're mad about it.
All the other shit from all the other vultures and all the other communities that are like coming in trying to like make drama out of this, that don't give a fuck about any victims or any people involved, which is the majority of people. Don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't care about that.
Another accusation that Destiny's fans like to throw at people who criticize him is that they're just doing it for money. Oh, you mean like how Destiny has made money from covering other people's controversies for years? What a dog shit argument. Yes, I'm gonna make money from this video because this is my job, just like Destiny makes money.
Sorry, I was muted. I think he like bragged that when he hopped on the Pokimane bandwagon, he made like an easy 10 grand or something off that video. Like, he is the vulture. He is the vulture. Like, he just doesn't want he doesn't want to be held to the same he doesn't want to be held accountable to the same standards that he holds other people accountable to.
Money from criticizing other people because that's his job. But this video isn't just about making money for me. I genuinely care about raising awareness for the shitty stuff that Destiny has done. If you're gonna write a manifesto about Keffels and say that she needs to be held responsible for her actions,
Demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible.
I'm gonna do the same thing to you, motherfucker. Now let's focus in on this part of the tweet. You're still upset that I bullied you off the internet a year ago. You know what, Destiny? You are not totally wrong. Being bullied off the internet didn't feel particularly good because people don't tend to enjoy being bullied. Destiny and his community definitely have bullied me over the years, but I don't really care to relitigate my personal beef with Destiny. Destiny and his community weren't very nice to the suit-wearing fatty. Who gives a fuck? But Destiny, you don't get to criticize Keffels for being a bully.
Internet internet bullying.
And then turn around and take pride in the fact that you're a bully. That is called hypocrisy. The fact that Destiny and his community have bullied me in the past probably is a factor in why I chose to make this video. And I would argue that the treatment that Destiny received from creators like Vosh and Keffels is one of the reasons he made manifestos against them. As much as I might want to, I am a human being and I can't fully separate myself from my own personal biases. And the fact that I have been bullied by Destiny and his community in the past does probably make me somewhat biased against them. If you feel like my personal bias against Destiny means that I'm not the right person to make this video, I respect that opinion and I encourage you to go watch a different YouTube video. But in this video...
But the other problem is, like, who has Destiny not gone after? Who has not been personally... it's the Regina George meme. Who has been personally victimized and harassed by Destiny's community, and then everyone raises their hand? Like, he just... Anyone who ever says anything against him, ever, has to deal with his community. Like, it's a cute argument when there's only one or two people that have been targeted by your community that have negative bias against you. When it's everyone, sorry, man, you made your bed, lay in it.
I'm going to try my absolute best to be as unbiased as possible and stick to the facts as much as possible. I am going to try my best to not view Destiny in bad faith, because I think even if you view him in good faith, he's still a piece of shit. I do feel like one of Destiny's tactics from across the years is to be incredibly mean to anyone he has a conflict with. So when that person eventually decides to make a video criticizing him, he can just write that person off as obsessive and just mad because he bullied them.
As a supporter of yours, I would appreciate if you address some of the points made in the Britney video. She seemed to be pretty fair, especially in her conclusions. I don't have time to address every deranged, obsessive video that's made about me. I still haven't watched a Britney video.
Just add this tactic to the long list of tactics that Destiny and his community use to deflect criticism from themselves. The last criticism that Destiny and his community might make against this video is that I'm bringing up a bunch of old news that Destiny has already addressed. While that might be the case for some of the things I talk about in this video is not being made for Destiny's community. I'm making this video for the broader internet, and the majority of the broader internet doesn't know about all of these past controversies that you might consider old news. Contrary to what you guys might believe, the entire world does not orbit around Destiny. If Destiny is going to be interviewing potential presidential candidates like Marianne Williamson, then I think the broader political community deserves to know about Destiny's past actions.
And this was a major point made by Pixie in her Substack. This has been something that Pixie has stressed time and time and time again, that she is concerned that someone who's cool with sharing non-consensual pornographic content to people, to random people on the internet, maybe that person shouldn't have an association with real political candidates. She says it here. Whoever the next Joe Rogan of the left is, it cannot be someone that crosses sexual boundaries, violates consent, and puts women's well-being and safety at risk. It cannot be someone who puts women in positions where they will be sexually abused and harassed. It concerns me that Destiny has been interviewing potential DNC chair candidates, such as Marianne Williamson or Martin O'Malley, who have no idea of what he's done.
Destiny has said before that he has nothing to hide, and people can't expose him for anything that he's done in the past because he's open about everything he's done in his life. When someone else was trying to expose Destiny for his bad behavior, he...
I know I get like 5 of these messages every day, but I have to say, they kind of don't fail to crack me up every time. You're really doing the Lord's work with the cleavage every stream, politics poggers. Have you been outside? Say the line, Bar. If you think this is like an obscene amount of cleavage, I need you to go outside. Women dress like this to go to church. But like, then again, it's a LOL user, so what are we expecting? Me when I'm dressed. Someone called this the abuela shirt. That was actually so hurtful, by the way, the person who said that. If you want to hurt my feelings, don't say this. Say that, okay? Mock my sense of fashion. That hurts me way more, okay? That actually hurts me. And I think about it every time I put this shirt on. But I don't care because it's a comfortable shirt. They're not wrong. I know. That's the worst part. They're not wrong. This doesn't hit, man. This doesn't slap. It's kind of cringe, kind of tired, heard it before, get some new material, go outside, you know, like, please, please.
He sent these messages to his chat. So if he wants to expose me, that's fine. Let him expose. But he needs to post receipts instead of just vaguely alluding to shit. There's literally nothing anyone could have on me for anything because I don't do anything bad/weird. I am the cleanest motherfucker in this entire scene. The worst anyone could ever have on me is fucking dick pics or something. He can talk about whatever he wants, but he should provide proof, not just baseless accusations/speculation. Alright, Destiny. In this video, I will provide plenty of proof and receipts to back up everything that I accuse you of. If what you said in these messages is true, then you should have absolutely no issue with me lying out everything that you've done over the years on the table. Are we on the same page? Great. Honestly, I feel like the fact that I feel the need to lay out all these preambles and pretext and shoot down possible criticisms before they make them should show you that Destiny's community have become masters at deflecting criticism against them. You can call these motherfuckers Bert from Mary Poppins in the way that they're masters at sweeping. The joke here is that Bert from Mary Poppins is a chimney sweep. It's a funny joke, okay? Fuck off. My goal in this video is not to push some sort of political agenda against Destiny. I actually think he is a very smart dude who's one of the best debaters on the internet and one of the best people at using logic to defend liberal values. I debated Destiny a couple times a few years off. My goal in this video is not to push some sort of political agenda against Destiny. I actually think he is a very smart dude who's one of the best debaters on the internet and one of the best people at using logic to defend liberal values.
Yeah, I'm a lib. I liberate my friend's nudes from the captivity of my phone.
I debated Destiny a couple times a few years ago, and he definitely wiped the floor with me, especially in our second debate. I have no shame in admitting that. Destiny is definitely a better debater than I am. Even if I disagree with a lot of his opinions because I'm a leftist, I can still recognize that he's done a great job dunking on a bunch of dumbass conservatives. But like Destiny said in his manifesto against Keffals, I don't think we should be afraid to hold members of our own community accountable.
Demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible.
And Destiny has done a lot of fucked up shit that I think he needs to be held accountable for. Just because he's a good debater who's really good at defending the liberal ideology, I don't think that means that we should sweep his bad behavior under the rug.
And I don't understand how Steven can really say that he wants to be a serious political advocate if he doesn't want to manage his personal life in any way that's serious. Like, why should the DNC involve you in anything that they want when your personal life looks like a fucking train wreck that's going to be bad PR for all of them? Why should anyone want to spend time debating you on these bigger platforms if all you're going to do is bring fucking tarnishing their reputation, right? It's like, if you're serious about this, you should make this sacrifice. And if you can't, then I don't think you really care about the political positions that you claim to care about.
My goal in this video is to simply lay out all of his actions from across the years that I consider harmful and allow you to come to your own conclusions. All right? Let's get into it. In this video, I hope to establish a pattern of how Destiny over the course of his career has repeatedly taken advantage of and harmed women and occasionally children, and how he has advocated for a world that makes it easier for people like him to harm women and children. We'll start by going through Destiny's harmful behavior towards women, then we'll take a detour to his harmful behavior towards children, and then we'll loop back around to his harmful behavior towards women again. Sound good? Well, it's not going to be. Around the end of 2011, Destiny sexually assaulted a woman on his live stream. I'm not using the word allegedly here because we have video of him doing it and he has openly admitted that it was sexual assault.
I would say that in my streaming career in the past, like totally publicly, like I completely and totally like assaulted a girl on stream before for like fucking 5 minutes or whatever. I got super fucking drunk and was like grabbing her fucking breast the entire time.
Later, Destiny has attempted to downplay his actions here by tweeting, "I was drunk off my ass, literally for the first time in my life." And he said that at the time, he didn't understand how bad it was, but now, looking back years later, he understands that it was reprehensible behavior.
And at the time, I figured like, oh, well, you know, we're gonna fuck anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, she's chill or whatever. Like, I'm drunk. It doesn't matter. Like, at the time, I'm thinking like, you know, oh, it's not a big deal. But like looking back, I'm like, okay, wait, this is like really, really, really reprehensible behavior.
But if you go back and watch the clip, immediately after assaulting her, he says, "Listen, I'm gonna apologize to you so much tomorrow."
Listen, I'm gonna apologize
Yeah,
to you
say sorry.
so much tomorrow.
Why would you need to apologize to her tomorrow, Destiny? Is it maybe because you understood that what you were doing was wrong? To me, this shows that even in his incredibly drunk state, he knew that what he was doing is wrong. And obviously, being drunk does not absolve you of your actions. Otherwise, we wouldn't criminalize drunk driving.
You've come here to this stream to defend drunk drivers to me.
This is a common tactic with Destiny where he'll half take accountability for something, but half try to downplay it by saying, "Oh, I was so drunk at the time. Oh, I didn't understand how bad it was at the time." But I'm calling bullshit. You understood that what you were doing was bad, even back when you did it, because you were an adult, not a baby. According to this woman, Destiny has never directly apologized to her, even though she would like him to. She acknowledges that he has indirectly apologized on his stream, but my question is, did he apologize on his stream to save his reputation, or did he apologize because he was genuinely remorseful? I will allow you to answer that question for yourself as we go through more of Destiny's pattern of behavior from over the years. In 2012, Destiny shared private nudes of a woman he had been sexting named Blue Tea with his friends. Destiny will often claim that the reason for his actions are because he was provoked into doing them and he had no other choice.
I'm kind of being pushed into playing my entire hand.
But here, there was no provocation. He just thought it would be funny to share this woman's private nudes with his friends and joke about how fucking hideous her face is compared to her beautiful body. And he also insulted her because he thought she looked like Shrek. So he shared a woman's private nudes without consent for the purpose of degrading her. In response, Blue Tea hacked Destiny's Twitter and tweeted out pictures of his dick. Obviously, I condemn this woman's actions. She posted revenge porn of Destiny, which is never justified. But don't forget that the situation that provoked this was Destiny maliciously sharing her nudes without her consent. On Reddit, Destiny replied to her by saying, "I can't imagine how you can think that people will never ever ever talk about anything personal or private amongst their friends. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I can't see myself caring at all if you shared pictures between your close friends, especially given the fact that I'd never see any of them in real life." So, in this comment, Destiny is admitting that he did send the nudes without consent, and he's attempting to downplay his action.
And like, I've talked about this as well before, when we were covering Pixie announcing her lawsuit. He relies heavily on the fact that none of his victims are perfect. Pixie is the reason why I think there's been a major shift against Destiny is because Pixie is a very rare instance of a victim that actually is perfect, and she didn't commit any wrongs, and she did everything right, and he still treated her horribly. But most people, when they feel wronged, they retaliate. And it doesn't make what you did in your retaliation okay, but I think it helps to explain why that happened in the first place. When someone treats you like shit, for you to pretend to be unaware on why someone would do something bad back to you, it's pathetic. Reactive abuse, I mean, like, again, you don't have to suddenly be okay with her doing what she did, but he always brings that stuff up because he relies on victims not being perfect, and the vast majority of victims are not going to be perfect. And he knows that it works. He knows that his audience, who wants a reason to forgive him, who wants to keep watching their content, his audience is going to say, "Oh, well, I guess what you did wasn't that bad because she did this." Which is an insane thing to say.
humans. A couple years later, when one of Destiny's friends named Bob7 allegedly shared a woman's nudes without her consent, Destiny said that this should be life-destroying.
Bob7 shared nude photographs of multiple women after pressuring one to post one without their consent, but I do believe that these are relatively life-destroying.
The absence of clip chipping really makes me question the Nuke status stuff.
Revelations.
But when Destiny does it, he justifies it by saying that he wouldn't care if someone did it to him. This is known as the personal preference fallacy, arguing that something isn't wrong simply because you wouldn't care if it was personally done to you. Even if Destiny wouldn't care if someone shared his nudes, which I doubt, that doesn't make it okay for him to do it to someone else. And a couple years later, Destiny demonstrates that he knows that sharing nudes is wrong by laughing at this clip of someone explaining how it's wrong.
The guy sent the nudes to like his buddy, and the buddy sent it to the other buddy, and it just went like the whole school had her nudes.
Wow.
Right?
That's cray.
That in of itself is another example of like violating consent. Like, even though, you know, for so long we were trained to be like, oh, consent has to do with like, you know, like sex.
Did you guys know that if a bitch breaks up with you and you send her nudes to everybody, even that's wrong, guys?
Him laughing like this is him sarcastically showing that he obviously understands it's wrong. So I think even back when Destiny did this, he understood that it was wrong. He's just pretending like he didn't understand that it was wrong to avoid taking accountability for his actions. Destiny has a long history of really not liking when women post about their negative sexual experiences online. Real talk, opening up about quote-unquote your rape and shit on Twitter is incredibly fucking weird and should never have been normalized. I have no idea why the fuck people encourage others to trauma dump on social media. It's insanely unhealthy. This was in response to a woman sharing an allegation about how she was stealthed. She was allegedly having sex with a man. She had established the boundary beforehand that he needed to wear a condom during sex, but in the middle of sex, he removed the condom, which is a form of rape. I agree with Destiny that sometimes trauma dumping on social media can be unhealthy, but sharing allegations on social media obviously has the possible benefit of holding people accountable for their actions. And putting the words "your rape" in quotation marks obviously implies that he's casting some level of doubt onto her story. It's one thing to wait to see evidence before you fully believe someone's story that they post on social media. It's another thing to instantly cast doubt on their story just because you're annoyed that they decided to post about it on social media. This controversy started because Destiny had retweeted someone who tweeted, "If you knew he took off the condom and you couldn't even bring yourself to say anything, you shouldn't be having casual sex." A bunch of people got mad at Destiny for retweeting this, so then he tweeted, "If you are noticing someone is taking a condom off and you can't say anything, you probably don't have the emotional maturity to engage in sex. You should probably just grab a caretaker or something and stick to masturbating to furry porn. Sorry." People got even more mad at this tweet, so then he tweeted, "Sorry, I want to apologize for my last tweet. You should treat every single woman you come across like a child who's incapable of voicing an opinion about literally anything. Ideally, you would bring her dad along to every fuck so he can guide her through the process." First of all, she did clearly assert her boundaries before sex. She just struggled to reassert her boundaries when this man started raping her because this made her so uncomfortable. I agree that if you struggle to reassert your boundaries during sex, this could make it more likely that you would end up being harmed during sex. And we should obviously encourage people to assert their boundaries during sex as much as they possibly can. But rather than show empathy for women who struggle to tell men to stop because they're so terrified while they're being raped, Destiny decides to insult these women's emotional maturity and call them retarded children. According to a neuroscience article in the journal Nature Human Behavior, victims frequently report immobility during rape and sexual assault, often using the term freezing. Neuroscientific evidence suggests fear and threat can block cortical neural circuits for action control, leading to involuntary immobility. And this sort of immobility can manifest as physical immobility or verbal immobility. A 2017 Scandinavian study reported that 70% of the 298 women who had visited an emergency clinic within a month of experiencing sexual violence had experienced significant tonic immobility or paralysis when it happened. So when women struggle to reassert their boundaries while they're being raped, this isn't because they're children with no emotional maturity. There are actual neurological reasons for this behavior. When the streamer Hans of Harkir brings up the fact that these women could be having a freeze response when they experience stealthing, Destiny disregards this and says that a victim couldn't possibly have a freeze response just from seeing a man take his condom off.
Freeze up is some shit where you're like in a fucking traumatic situation and somebody's doing some crazy shit. Not like you look down and you see that some asshole is trying to slip a condom off. Like, oh, I'm frozen out! I can't fucking think! I don't take the condom off! I'm fucking completely frozen! Bro, what the fuck kind of 14-year-olds are you fucking? No, are you serious?
But according to a 2010 study titled Facing Freeze, Social Threat-Induced Bodily Freeze in Humans, even negative social interactions can trigger a psychological freeze response in some people. The more fear someone is experiencing, the more likely they are to have a freeze response, but even a moderate amount of fear can still induce a psychological freeze response. And seeing someone non-consensually...
Like, it hasn't been mentioned, which is why I was waiting for him to say it, but he hasn't said it, so I'll say it. Generally speaking, if you're having sex with someone and you're smaller than them, there is a concern that there would be violence if you dissented. Like, we all know this to be true. I don't know why we're suddenly pretending like you wouldn't freeze up. It's not a thing that would happen. Like, I don't think you should have to say what you want 20 times and then have your boundaries violated anyways, and then it's your fault. Like, what? That's insane. That's an insane thing to say.
Removing their condom during sex after you've established that they need to wear a condom absolutely could cause enough fear to induce a freeze response. The way that Destiny chooses to mock these women who claim that they do have a freeze response while being stealthed is just really fucking gross. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, I'm frozen out! I can't fucking think! I don't take the condom off! I'm fucking completely frozen!
I think this is from the person who is the retarded child. They said, I've actually been raped, and saying no just made him rape me harder. I know that's what happened after he pulled out. This is not incomprehensible that I would just walk away from that situation.
It sounds like she needs to stop having casual sex.
To be clear, I don't...
She explains why she's frozen up, and then victim blames her. Okay.
I don't think that Destiny is saying it's okay to stealth people, but I do think he is choosing to mock women for something that is outside of their control. Obviously, women do have some level of control over reasserting their boundaries during sex, and we should always encourage people to assert their boundaries as much as possible. But if someone is struggling to reassert their boundaries because of a freeze response when someone is raping them, maybe we shouldn't call them retarded children. After this controversy, the absolutely brilliant trans activist known as Keffels decided to make a false allegation against Destiny. She claimed that Destiny himself had stealthed a woman.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape. Insane.
As far as we know, this is totally untrue. Destiny himself has not stealthed a woman. He was just a massive asshole to a woman who was stealthed. To give Keffels credit, she did acknowledge soon after this that she was wrong and Destiny actually didn't stealth anyone.
Wait, I don't know if he did it. Wait, backing up, I don't actually know if he did it.
But Keffels, maybe consider trying to be really sure before you make these types of allegations against people. Destiny is correct that spreading false allegations like this absolutely does undermine the cause of the left. Making this false allegation against Destiny allowed him to shift his focus onto your false allegation instead of focusing on the fact that he was a massive asshole to this woman who was stealthed. Unfortunately, many of the people who have tried to take down Destiny over the years haven't been the sharpest tools in the shed. Speaking of tools in the shed, let's talk about the time that Destiny tweeted that he hopes a woman is raped to death with a shovel. In 2015, the porn star Stoya tweeted allegations that the male porn star James Dean had raped her. This tweet really upset Destiny because, as we've established, he really does not like it when women talk about their negative sexual experiences online. Jesus, why not file a fucking police report instead of tweeting this? You're fucking disgusting. What a fucking idiot at Stoya. Stephen Bennell, why don't you write us a long list of everything you feel a survivor of rape should do? Then I'll use it to wipe my ass. Survivor of rape. It's rape, not murder, not beheading, not a fatal car crash. Everyone survives rape. Get over yourself. Survivor of rape here. Hello. Want to talk about how hard it is to go on every day? Kill yourself so you don't have to live with the pain. So rape survivors should just get over it because at least they didn't die. And if they're dealing with a lot of pain or trauma because of their rape, rape, they should just kill themselves, because if they kill themselves, the pain will stop. Very cool, Steven. I have no idea why anyone has ever accused you of being a rape apologist. This should go without saying, but obviously it's good for rape survivors to file police reports to hold rapists accountable, but police reports don't always lead to rapists being held accountable for their actions, which is why sometimes it's good to post about it on social media. At least Destiny will be happy that the woman he allegedly recorded while they were having sex without her knowledge did file a police report against Destiny. Good job, Cherry. You have done things in the Destiny-approved way. Right after this, Destiny got into an argument with another woman about how James Dean didn't respect Stoya's safe word. As Stephen Bennell, ignoring a safe word and not stopping when someone asks is ignoring consent and is rape. Go fuck yourself. Kill yourself, you fucking cunt. I hope you get raped with a fucking shovel until you bleed out your fucking vag and die. Holy. This right here is probably the most violent, vitriolic language that I have ever seen Destiny use in his entire career on the internet. And it just so happens to be in response to women talking about their negative sexual experiences. My question after seeing all of this is, why does Destiny have such an intense hatred for women talking about their negative sexual experiences on the internet? Is it because he just cares so much about these women and he doesn't want them to harm their own mental health because trauma dumping on the internet can be really damaging for them? Or is it maybe because a culture where women feel comfortable coming forth with allegations on the internet can lead to women like Pixie and Cherry and Melina coming forth with allegations against people like Destiny, exposing them for being massive pieces of shit? I will again allow you to answer that question for yourself. We'll get back to Destiny treating women like shit a little bit later on, but now let's pivot to Destiny harming children. For some strange reason, a lot of people like to label Destiny here a pedophile. So in the next section, we'll get to the bottom of whether or not Mr. Bonnell here really is a certified EDP 445. Is Destiny really a pedo, or are these just false, slanderous allegations meant to try to dethrone the debate bro king? Let's find out.
Whoa, that was a good section. I feel like pausing and interrupting it is like worse than just letting it play, because the only thing I can say is, yeah, yep, that happened. Yep, that happened. Yep. I just want to show people that, yeah, actually there's enough stuff that it's insane that anyone is still in that camp. Yeah, the iconic Hassan. That's crazy. Yeah. Soap Makes Sense, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. But he frequently relies on people, he frequently relies on his community harassing people to the point where they're too afraid to talk anymore. This is the strategy.
In 2012, when Destiny was 23, he shared in a group chat with a couple of his friends the messages, "You want to see the sickest shit in the world? So many fangirls. I had one that was 15. She wanted to meet and hook up. Dude, she's 15, what the fuck? But she sent me pictures that made it so hard to say no." Then Destiny linked a picture of this girl in a bikini in the chat and said, "Girl on the left, so hard to say no. Gonna get arrested one of these MLGs, man." So in these logs, when Destiny was 23, he said that it was really hard to turn down hooking up with this 15-year-old because she looked so good in this picture of her in a bikini. He then shared this lewd image of a child with his friends and said that he's gonna get arrested someday. Well, like I said, a woman just filed a police report against Destiny, so we'll just have to wait and see if his prediction comes true.
And multiple other women have the right to file police reports as well. I know Pixie has predominantly talked about filing a civil suit, which I believe she totally should pursue. But she has grounds to charge him criminally, or at least take him to a criminal court. And I hope she does.
A couple years later in...
What I don't understand is, how can you defend this person? Once you're at the point where you realize you're defending this guy, you should take a step back and reconsider whether or not your positions on all of his enemies is based in reality or if it's something he told you.
2015, when Destiny was 26, he shared in his chat, "I would fuck the shit out of that 15-year-old, what the fuck? There's no way that chick is 15. So now we've seen 2 separate occasions where Destiny says that he's attracted to 15-year-olds. Ironically, this conversation where he's sharing a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini with his friends is the exact same conversation where he also shared that other woman's nudes without her consent. Sharing non-consensual nudes and sharing a picture of a child in a bikini in one conversation? What a certified Destiny moment. This is what we in the business call a Diddy-stiny party. A common defense that Destiny fans will give when he says that he wants to have sex with children is that he's just joking. For example, these tweets where he says, "You were hot at 10? Any pics? Check DMs. Jesus, I've never wanted to bend someone over the hood of their little tyke so bad." I do think these tweets are jokes, very strange jokes, but I don't think that him saying he wanted to hook up with this 15-year-old was a joke. You know that classic prank where you send your friends pictures of kids in bikinis and say how hot you find them as a joke? And to help prove that this wasn't a joke, here are some clips of Destiny doubling down on his attraction to this 15-year-old in a debate with someone named Mr. Medicare.
What world do you have to be in where you think it's just like a funny joke to make these weird, like, jokes?
To this chat log, I was talking with a bunch of other esports guys, and we were basically talking about how crazy
Like,
the fuck.
listen, man, if you still hold water for this guy or you still just really like his content, dude, there's better content out there. You don't have to watch content from one of the worst people. There's other content, I promise. I'm not saying watch me. I'm not saying watch Hassan. I'm not saying fucking, don't even watch Ethan Klein. There's other content out there. You don't have to watch this guy. There's a lot of content on the internet. There are literally millions of videos online. There are what? Hundreds of thousands of streamers? Watch anything else. I promise you, you will find something else that you like. The boat is sinking and you're still refusing to get off. You don't have to, be the captain and go down with the ship. You don't. You can dip anytime you want. You're just a random passenger. Dude, go watch Asmongold. At least Asmongold isn't fucking sharing nudes without consent, for fuck's sake. Literally, anyone else. You don't have to watch this guy. You don't have to. I promise, there's better shit out there. Because I know that there are a lot of people who, I think it's a sunk cost fallacy where you've just spent so much time watching this person, so you can't stop watching this person. And it's hard to find a replacement. But I think you need to take the L and realize that there's better shit out there. Maybe not Asmund, guy's a Nazi apologist. You have to understand that they're not going to watch someone who's actually a leftist. If you're at the point where you're consuming Destiny content every day, you're not going to get that person to watch a leftist. I'm suggesting things that are reasonable for these people to watch. I'm being realistic. They're never going to watch Hassan. They might watch Asmongold, and I'd rather them go watch Asmongold. There isn't a better debater on the liberal side than Destiny. If you think that the only thing that makes someone's content good is being a good debater, I don't know how to tell you that you're wrong. I don't know how to explain to you that you're wrong. This is not the end-all be-all. There are things that are more important than being good at debating.
fucking jailbait is in the gaming communities. It's ridiculous. I think I said something along the lines of like, there are 15-year-old chicks that are like hot as fuck that will like try to send you pictures to like fuck you at events and shit, and it's like you have to be really careful when you navigate that.
So what is the admitting to jerking off to 15-year-olds then? What is that in relation to?
I never admitted to jerking off. I think I just said like this. I think the log is something like this 15-year-old chick was trying to send me, or was sending me pictures of herself, and she was hot as fuck. It's like really hard to like turn down some of these people. I think.
Wait, how old was she?
She said she was 15.
So you did get pictures from a 15-year-old?
Not nudes though. Sorry, I should specify. I think a couple pics of her like at the beach or some shit. But
in swimwear?
Yeah.
So you're getting swimwear pics from 15-year-olds?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. This shit is fucking crazy. Shit is fuck.
So, in these clips, he says that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck, and he admits to sharing a picture of this 15-year-old in a bikini to his friends. So, is Destiny a pedophile? Well, he admitted that he finds some 15-year-olds hot as fuck, and he sent his friends a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini because he found her so attractive. A lot of arguments with Destiny about pedophilia end up getting wrapped up in semantic debates about labels instead of focusing on the facts of the matter. If you call Destiny a pedo for being attracted to a 15-year-old, he'll launch into a tirade about how, pedophilia is the attraction to prepubescent children and 15-year-olds are post-pubescent. So therefore, by calling me a pedo, you have slandered me. So then you go, okay, I guess you're not a pedophile, you're an ephebophile, because ephebophilia is the attraction to teenagers aged 15 to 19. So then he'll go, no, ephebophilia is the primary attraction to mid to late adolescents. I'm mostly attracted to adults. I'm just a little bit attracted to children.
There are 15-year-old chicks that are like hot as fuck.
So therefore, I am not an ephebophile, and you have slandered me yet again. Also, there's nothing inherently wrong with ephebophilia because 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds fall under the category of ephebophilia, and there's nothing wrong with being attracted to adults, so your normative position condemning ephebophilia in its entirety is already a flawed premise. And even if I was a pedophile, there's nothing wrong with being attracted to children. It's only bad if you act on that attraction. So therefore, you have slandered me in countless ways, and my community will now harass you for years. See how you've now had an exhausting 20-minute debate about labels instead of focusing on the fact that Destiny admitted to being attracted to some children and admitted to acting on that attraction by sending a picture of a child in a bikini to his friends? This is the debate bro way. Crush your opponent through pedantic arguments about semantics so you never have to actually take accountability for your actions. As far as we know, I don't think Destiny falls under the clinical definition of pedophile, but the colloquial definition of pedophile is someone who is attracted to children, and Destiny is at least somewhat attracted to children.
There are some 15, 16-year-old chicks that like look pretty fucking hot. Like I can't help that. Like some people mature fucking older.
Destiny defended another streamer who got exposed for having sex with a 14-year-old by saying, even if he did bang a 14-year-old, no, that's not what pedophile means. Go look it up. Seriously, if you don't understand the difference between being attracted to someone that happens to be young and being attracted to someone because they are young, you have absolutely no business whatsoever commenting on the issue, period. It makes you look uneducated. I really want to see someone use this argument in court. Your Honor, I didn't have sex with that baby because I'm attracted to babies. I had sex with that baby because it just so happened to be a really hot baby. Most babies are not hot, but every once in a while, one of those extra special babies rolls their stroller on past my goon cave and I just can't help myself. But this does not make me a pedophile. You look really uneducated right now. You know what, Destiny? You can feel free to have your pedantic definition of pedophile that only applies to being specifically attracted to prepubescent children because of the fact that they are prepubescent, and I can say that I think you are a freak for saying as a 26-year-old that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck, and for as a 23-year-old sharing around a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini. Deal? The next child-related Destiny incident is when him and his friends, the Bro Squad, watched an 8-year-old boy shake his penis for them on a live stream.
I shouldn't tell this because I'm gonna get fucking arrested. Or Child Protective Services. I used to be part of this horrible thing called the Bro Squad, okay? Fucking me, if you remember that fucking Cheeks bitch, and fucking a couple other people that have never been on my stream before, we're part of the Bro Squad, and what we would do is we would go around DenimsTTV streams, trolling the shit out of these people. And we went around from fucking channel to channel, like fucking around. Like it was this horrible shit. We went to this channel with this fucking like This kid was like 8 years old, and he was fucking broing out with everybody in this chat. For whatever fucking reason, this kid decides to fucking take his pants off and fucking wiggle his 8-year-old dick on stream. I can't even believe it. Oh my fucking god. It was like, I didn't even know, like, we were on Skype, we were like, holy shit. Like, we had to do like a double take because we didn't even fucking know, like, what the fuck was on. Like, we were looking at like an 8-year-old dick, like, on the fucking screen. And his fucking brother.
This is like an insane thing to talk about. Like, I don't. I don't.
And his brother, we called him Captain Push-Ups, would like come in the room. And this guy was like fucking 14 years old. He had his shirt off and he was like this. Like watching this stream the entire time and shit. Oh my god.
As far as what Destiny says in this clip, they didn't ask the child to pull his pants down, but I still think it's very bad that him and his bro squad didn't immediately click off of this live stream the second that this child exposed himself. If a child exposes themselves to you, I think you have a moral responsibility to immediately click away from that shit. But I guess Destiny and his bro squad thought it was really funny to sit and laugh while staring at an 8-year-old's penis. Next, a couple years later, Destiny planned to kill a kid. Apparently, this kid was DDoSing Destiny's website. DDoSing is when you overwhelm a website with fake internet traffic, causing it to shut down. And because Destiny's website was shut down, he was no longer able to make money from it.
Oh, I did troll the shit out of the DDoS kid. That's a guy, that's one of the people, like, legitimately, like, I was so, you have no, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it. But I was making so much money on Twitch, and I don't know if Nathan was involved in yet, but for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk of... Oh my god. Oh my god, I was so close to this fucking address. I had fucking streets mapped out and fucking you had no fucking idea. That's when I first started getting an interest in like owning a weapon.
Can you imagine if like me or Hassan or any of Destiny's enemies had even one clip that was half as bad as any of these clips? They can't defend this. Destiny fans cannot defend this, which is why they're doing their other strategy, which is bombarding places like LSF with as many clips as they can that are clip chimped, like this one or this one or this one. Why? Because they're mad that I'm exposing him for being a fucking freak. And they rely on no one wanting to correct the narrative. They rely on being cool with ignoring entire crimes. They rely on people being too normal to go into any of these LSF threads to be like, hey, actually, this is not true. Hey, actually, this is clip chimped. Because we literally watched at least one of these. I think we watched two of these. Like this one, which is explicitly clip chimped. Like Hassan literally in this one says, you can see the chat message on his screen that he's responding to. He's explaining why that chatter thinks Hassan Nasrallah sounds based in that clip, despite being a terrible person, despite committing war crimes. Like, why talk about Destiny's alleged sex crimes when instead we can shit on this woman for being mean to Ethan Klein? Quick, post as many as you can. It's sad. It's like pathetic. It's really sad and pathetic. Right? But again, this is not defense. This is indefensible. The shit that he's said and done over the years is indefensible. They don't want to have to actually address that stuff, which is why they brigade and brigade and brigade places like LSF. That's why when you see a Hassan clip on here, it's the most clip chimp thing you've ever seen. That's why when you see a clip from me, it's the most clip chimp thing you've ever seen. Because they can't actually engage with any of the stuff that their overlord has done to them. Or sorry, has done to other people. Like, my crime is saying that, oh, see, here's a clip of Hassan saying, responding to a chat message calling what Hassan Nasrallah said based. And what do they have to weigh that against? Their content daddy saying that he's sending people pictures of a 15-year-old girl in a bikini. Oh my God. And so these clips that are clip trimmed will sit at the very bottom, but you will find that there is not a single clip on here talking about any of the content nuke. In this video, there isn't a single clip resurfacing about any of the things, the countless things that Destiny has done, that all of these, so many of these could easily put you in jail. Like, if I said that I did any of these, you know people would be fucking calling the FBI. But it's cool because, you know, it's their guy that's doing it, so it's fine, and it was just a joke, and it was funny. But again, they rely on nobody going into these threads and downvoting clip-chipped garbage. Like, it's just garbage. It's literally just bottom-of-the-barrel garbage. Because they need to keep distracting people. They need to keep distracting people away from his sex crimes as often as they can. This your king? This is him? Sorry, facing the wrong way. This is him?
And I got a permit to own a gun and everything.
Destiny obviously never went through with killing this kid, but the fact that he legitimately planned to kill him is unhinged.
Were you really considering it? Yeah, of course. It's actually kind of scary, like how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. How old was the kid in relation to you? I think the kid was probably 16. I think I was 22.
Destiny has defended this to this day, saying that if someone is stopping you from making money, this justifies killing them, even if they're a child.
If you came outside every single day and some guy was slashing your tires and he wouldn't stop and you called the police and nobody wanted to do anything, just without having proof for it, you're like, well, I'm gonna have to attack this dude and maybe even kill him. Yeah, sure, go for it.
Obviously, I agree that someone maliciously taking away.
Sorry, what is this? Marianne, I trust your links. What is this?
Hey, you know they got your mans. They got your mans on sex assault charges. Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with. Oh, yeah, sex offender. And he was your mans. He was your boy. I heard you grew up with him. That's crazy, man.
You ain't know what he was doing? You ain't feel bad at all? Like no guilt, none of that shit.
Hey, you know they got your mans. They got your mans on sex.
They got your mans on sexual assault charges. It's such a good video. It's such a good video. I heard you grew up with him.
Your primary source of income is incredibly bad, but I think there are a lot of other possible avenues you could explore before jumping to the nuclear option of shooting a child. As much as it obviously sucks to lose your income, I think if you need to choose between killing a child in cold blood and losing your Twitch revenue, you're just gonna need to put the fries in the bag and get a new job. The next child-related Destiny incident is when he encouraged an infamous lolly or drawn CP artist to draw a picture of his 6-year-old child. This artist is a man named Shadman. You might recognize Shadman from the recent controversy with Ava Chris Tyson from Mr. Beast, who was a really big fan of Shadman's work. Shadman has a long history of drawing pornographic images of actual children, including Keemstar's daughter, and because Destiny was aware of this, he encouraged Shadman to draw a pornographic image of his 6-year-old son. This controversy started because Destiny had been insulting the YouTube animation community. In response, Shadman made this drawing of Destiny to make fun of him, so Destiny then responded to Shadman by tweeting, "Hey at Shadbase, if drawing fan art of me is a tad uncomfortable, you could try drawing my son. He's only 6, so it should be easier for you." To try to be good faith to Destiny, this tweet was obviously a joke, and he didn't actually want Shadman to draw a picture of his son. However, I still think that goading a known CP artist into drawing CP of your own son is incredibly irresponsible. Because imagine if Shadman took him up on his request and did go ahead and make the drawing in the same way he had drawn Keemstar's daughter. Then, Destiny's son would have had to deal with the fact that there would be drawn CP of him floating around the internet for the rest of his life. If there was a known child murderer and you decided to tweet at that child murderer, "Hey, how about you come murder my child, LOL?" I think we would all agree that that would be incredibly irresponsible, even if that was just a joke. In the same way, I think it's incredibly irresponsible to encourage a known CP artist to draw CP of your child, even if it's just a joke. Thankfully, Shadman did not end up drawing Destiny's child like he had drawn Keemstar's child, and Destiny got to have fun making his little joke.
What a great comeback.
Looking at the craziest shit I've ever said in my life. Top 5 bangers. Okay.
Even though this joke could have come at the expense of his 6-year-old son's safety. Even though a lot of these situations involving children happened quite a while ago, I still think Destiny has been spreading harmful rhetoric around children even quite recently. A couple years ago, Destiny said that a 30-year-old randomly sexting a 14-year-old would not be grooming.
Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly sext like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming.
So that clip sounds pretty bad, right? But we don't want to approach Destiny in bad faith or take him out of context, so let's try to understand the actual argument that Destiny is making.
That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming. Now, let's say there's a person that's 30 years old and they're specifically seeking out like 14, 15-year-olds to kind of just like talk to them about their school life, figure out what their problems are, you know, be cool because you're old and you have experience, and then you kind of weasel in like sex. That's like grooming, right? That would be like grooming.
So Destiny's argument is that a 30-year-old randomly sexting a 14-year-old isn't grooming, but if a 30-year-old tries to weasel their way into a 14-year-old's life and slowly manipulate them into sexting them, this would be grooming. But this argument goes against the definition of grooming. The definition of grooming is the action of attempting to form a relationship with a child or young person with the intention of assaulting them or inducing them to commit an illegal act. Guess what, Destiny? Nowhere in that definition does it say that grooming has to be a slow process. Grooming is just forming a relationship with a child for the purpose of sex. A lot of times grooming is a slow process because they have to slowly break down the child's boundaries in order to get them to have a sexual relationship with them, but sometimes grooming can happen very quickly. For example, in situations where the child already has some established level of trust with the person who is grooming them. In this clip, Destiny is talking about influencers who sext their underage fans and saying that these influencers sexting their fans wouldn't necessarily be grooming because grooming is a slow process. The reason that influencers are often able to groom their fans so quickly is because their fans already have an established parasocial relationship with the influencer. If a teacher wants to groom a student, this usually happens more slowly because the teacher doesn't have a pre-established relationship with the student. But because influencers already have a parasocial relationship with their fans, grooming can occur much more quickly. Maybe Destiny's argument is that the very first time you sext a 14-year-old, this wouldn't be grooming yet because you haven't established a relationship with them yet. But this is still a stupid argument because in this context, randomly sexting a 14-year-old for the first time would be the first step in attempting to groom them. You're acting like everyone else is so stupid for not understanding grooming while you don't understand and grooming. Destiny would claim that he just cares about definitional specificity, but the specific definitions you're promoting aren't even accurate. I'm not saying that Destiny is making this argument because he wants to groom children, but when you combine him saying that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck, with him sharing around pictures of 15-year-olds in bikinis, with him saying that 30-year-olds sexting 14-year-olds isn't necessarily grooming, it starts to paint a very strange picture. Destiny also got really mad that people were labeling Drake a pedophile. He even had a debate about why it's totally fine for Millie Bobby Brown at 14 to be texting Drake about relationship advice.
When you say he's texting her and he wants to give her dating,
Defending this is crazy. The only reason that you should be, so I think like Macaulay Culkin is a good example where he has been known to be a source of information for young actors or actresses who don't understand, obviously, contract law and don't know how royalties work and don't understand that, like, they need to make sure that whatever money they make actually ends up going to them. Because again, I think he had this experience where he made these very successful Home Alone movies and he was a victim where his family made basically all the money. And he was not compensated for this child labor that he did for these unbelievable, like very iconic movies, right? Because you're going to get taken advantage of because you're fucking 10. And I know that he offers himself as a source or to help other kids that are in media and whatever that want to do acting or that end up in acting. I don't understand if suddenly Macaulay Culkin was messaging teenagers about dating advice. I would think that he was trying to have sex with them or be a fucking weirdo and a creep. I understand talking to people in the industry, in the Hollywood industry, to give them career advice and to help like explain to them, hey, you know, you have to make sure that like your finances are going to the right place. I know that you think your parents are going to help you, but sometimes it's not up to them. Sometimes maybe they get scammed by a contract. You need to make sure that blah, blah, blah. I'm happy to vet with you. I'm happy to go through it with you. You know, just please let me know if you need anything. Dating advice with a 14-year-old is objectively fucking insane. That's crazy. You give dating advice to maybe your nieces or your nephews, if you happen to be close to them. Or maybe your kids, they're like having bad luck with the girls at school. Yeah, go for it. With some random teenager you don't know is fucking insane. Objectively, it's fucking crazy. But like, I think it speaks for itself that you're defending this action. Like, if you're defending Drake's behavior, like, I think that speaks for itself.
advice. What if she's the one that brought it up first? Should he say something like, I'm sorry, but it's inappropriate for me to talk to you about high school boys? Or what? Like, what?
Yeah. You do it all the time. When some young person comes up to you and starts saying some weird stuff, you just sit there with this 13-year-old and then you start having conversations extended about them about dating.
Yeah, I have before. What do you mean? No, would I tell if a young person came up to me and they were asking me questions about some like boy problems or some shit? Yeah, I'd probably say, yeah, of course. What do you mean, I'm a 35-year-old man? Of course I'm gonna have better advice for them than some fucking random high school person. Yeah, of course.
Wait.
If a 15-year-old girl came up to me and she's like, there's some weird shit going on with a boy in my high school, I'd say, oh no, don't talk to me, honey. Go ask another 15-year-old boy or ask your fucking mom and dad who are gonna tell you to never talk to any boys ever. No, what the fuck?
Hold up. You think you should be talking to them about sex?
It depends on the context. I don't give a f. What do you mean? If a 15-year-old asks me and she's like, I think I'm gonna f this guy at school unprotected, yeah, I'd probably say, bro, you're 15. Don't destroy your fucking life. Make sure you guys are using protection. What the fuck? Why would I not say this?
Okay, and do you think that most parents finding out that you're talking to their kids about sex and giving them advice, do you think they would take it well?
I don't know. I don't give a f. They should be talking to their own kids about it.
So apparently Destiny has given children relationship advice in the past. Destiny is famously really great at relationships, so I'm sure these children really appreciated his sage words of wisdom.
But if there's one thing that nobody would ever say about Destiny, is that he makes good personal life dating decisions.
Destiny also says that he thinks he would give better relationship advice than a child's retarded parents, and that he would give a child sex advice even if this would upset the child's parents. Who cares if parents don't want you to talk to their kids about sex? Destiny understands your kids better than you do. Destiny, you're a rule utilitarian, right? You believe that we should establish moral rules based on what generally leads to the least amount of harm. But you don't think that it would be good to establish a general rule that it's not safe for 31-year-olds like Drake to be texting 14-year-olds like Millie Bobby Brown about their relationships? Of course, there can be hypothetical situations where this isn't harmful and the adult actually does have good intentions, but in general, I don't think it's safe for children to be having these sorts of private conversations with adults. And I think it is totally reasonable to side-eye Drake for having these sorts of conversations with Millie Bobby Brown, especially because he kissed a child on stage.
How old are you? Oh, I can't go to jail yet, man. 17? Why do you look like that?
17 and looks like a 17-year-old. Also, I'm not showing this on stream.
Now, is Drake...
I don't know if that is TOS, but I'm not showing that.
Well, like I said, he kissed a child on stage, but Destiny would
Showed up on
probably
stream
explain
anyways.
that
Nice,
this child
good.
was post-pubescent, not prepubescent, and kissing one child doesn't prove that he has a primary attraction to children, so therefore, we don't have enough evidence to label Drake a pedophile. Oh god, can you see how exhausting this is? Some people actually enjoy to listen to this shit day in and day out on Destiny's stream. Maybe Destiny just really wants to show Drake good faith because Drake has dropped so many bangers over the years. Or maybe he's defending Drake because he sees himself in Drake because of his own personal relationships with young people. Enter Rose is Coming, Destiny's 19-year-old e-girl Discord kitten. A couple years ago, Destiny was simultaneously married to a woman named Melina while having an affair on Melina with a white nationalist woman named Lauren Southern and sexting this 19-year-old e-girl named Rose is Coming on the side. Destiny was in an open marriage with Melina, but he still managed to have an affair with Melina because he didn't tell her about his relationship with Lauren Southern. And he also violated his wife's consent by sending her sex tapes to this 19-year-old e-girl without asking her.
Nothing has happened with consent.
I guess having an open relationship just wasn't enough for Destiny. Even though he was already free to sleep with other people, he still had to figure out some way to fuck over his wife. Anyway, while Destiny was
Managing to cheat while in an open relationship is
texting this 19-year-old, he asked her if she wanted to do age play, which is where you role play as being even younger. She was already 15 years younger than him, but you know, why not add on another 5 or 10 years for good measure? According to Destiny himself, he views sexting 19-year-olds as the same as sexting 15-year-olds.
When you're 19, you're a little kid, okay? Now, if you're 22, a 19-year-old's not a kid to you, okay? I'm 29.
I don't think I've ever seen that, the age play. Dude, like, I ignore a lot of weird fetishes, okay? Because I'm like there's some freaks out there, guys. There are some. I found out a friend of mine goes everywhere with a cage. And I'm like, you know what, man? I just work here. I just work here. Just fucking work here. How does one find that out? Age play is crazy. Age play is crazy.
19-year-old might as well be a 15-year-old to me. It's all the fucking same, dude. Don't give me this fucking, just because of some legal age of consent, whatever bullshit, I have about as much in common with like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old fucking freshman in school as I would a fucking sophomore in high school. Any type of inclination towards any of those people is really fucking weird. If you live with your mom and dad still pay all of your bills, you're still a virgin, you've never been in a relationship, you don't go to school, you've never even had a job before, you've never lived on your own, you're a child. You're very much a child.
So Destiny views 19-year-olds as little kids.
You're a little kid.
And says that being attracted to them is really fucking weird.
Really fucking weird.
Yet here he is 5 years later at age 34, sexting this 19-year-old, asking her if she wants to...
monster fucker SMH my head.
Maybe they should make monsters less sexy. Did you think about that? Maybe they should make Venom not so caked up. Maybe they should make his tongue less, you know. That's not on me. I'm based for that one, okay? I am based for that one. All right?
to do age play with him and sending her non-consensual sex tapes of his friends and wife. And honestly, it doesn't even matter what my opinion is of this. In Destiny's own words, he thinks this is really fucking weird.
Really fucking weird.
So, is Destiny a pedophile? I don't really give a fuck what you label him. I choose to label him a freak. Only freaks engage in the type of degenerate behavior that Destiny has engaged in. I don't give a fuck about semantic debates about the technical clinical definition of pedophilia. If you send pictures of a 15-year-old in a bikini to your friends and talk about how hot they are, you are a freak. Let's finish out the video by talking about Destiny's treatment towards women in more recent years. A little while ago, Destiny admitted that he was psychologically abusive towards his ex-wife.
This is probably just going to be Melina venting about her relationship with me to Bob. Listen, okay? I've said it a million times. I'm a very fucking hard person to date. I work a fuck ton, and I'm very fucking cold. I have a really hard time dealing with people when they get emotional, okay? But if Melina starts crying or we're having an argument, I'll say, like, listen, I'm gonna go play fucking Minecraft. Like, come talk to me when you're done crying, because I can't sit here and listen to you cry. I'm wasting the few fucking minutes of free time I have in the day. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you cry doing it. Like, so anybody that survives a relationship with me for more than like 6 months, okay, props to that person, because they're going through some severe fucking psychological abuse, all right? It's a fucking hard thing to deal with. I'm not joking.
Maybe Destiny's
I was gonna bring levity to the situation by saying it's the meme, the honey come back to bed. I can't. I have to post on Twitter. I can't. I have to stream. But then the clip got worse.
Fans would claim that he was being hyperbolic here and he wasn't actually admitting to being abusive. But here's his best friend Dan also saying that Destiny was really shitty towards his ex-wife.
I'll say this also. I think Steven was a fucking really shitty husband to Melina. Okay? I'm coming out here saying it right now. I don't think Steve would.
He's always been open about this. I don't know why any girl decided to be with him is insane to me. One, you're assuming that every single person who's ever interacted with him has perfect knowledge of everything that he said. And has researched him, which is a little crazy. Two, which is effectively victim blaming. Two, you're pretending like he doesn't run narratives around these women being horrible people, crazy, attention whores, blah, 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 blah. Like, he has done it to every single woman he's ever spoken to and been sexually involved with or interested in. Every single one, without fail. He has managed to call crazy. He's managed to say is worse than he is, did way worse shit than he has. And you're also failing to recognize that a lot of the women that he ends up seeking out are under 20 years old. I hold the 35-year-old at a higher standard. I may have misheard earlier, but did you say you dated him? No. No. I said it when I was covering PXIE'S document. My crime was not having sex with him. My crime was... That's it. I became friends with him at a time when, like, this is back when Hassan was still friends with him. And he takes a lot of things very personally, and he assumes malice and everything. I mean, he's not well. And then he blames everyone around him for his actions.
would deny it either, but it's not good the way that he was. Like, I talked with Melina a lot of times, and she was crying and miserable and everything else. And Steve would say, "What do you want me to say? I'm a selfish motherfucker. That's why I'm in the relationship that I'm in, the way that I do things that I'm in." And Melina like really was hurt by it. And I think like she was like, you know, what should I do? Should I leave? And I'll tell you this, I never was like, I was never like, no, you should stay and make things out. I told her multiple times, like, listen, if you feel like this is an abusive relationship, get the fuck out of there immediately.
Melina herself has also accused Destiny of being psychologically abusive towards her.
I'm irritated by a couple things. One thing I'm irritated about is that my ex-wife has reached.
Sorry, really quickly. Sorry, let me rephrase. I don't get why girls continue to stay with him when they know exactly who he is. He has a girlfriend now even. That, I am in agreement with you. You won't find anyone here that disagrees with you on that. That boggles my mind. That anyone still associates with him or still speaks to him or still holds water or defends or is in his camp after he's admitted to being like one of the worst people on the planet. Beyond confusing to me. Beyond confusing to me.
Reached out to a ton of people. At least, I'll say at least 5 mutual friends have alerted me. I have no idea how many other are affected. Basically saying that I've lied about a ton of stuff and that I am abusive.
So Destiny has said that he was psychologically abusive towards Melina. Melina has said that Destiny was psychologically abusive towards Melina. And Destiny's best friend Dan also seems to think that Destiny was psychologically abusive towards Melina. I wonder if maybe Destiny was psychologically abusive towards Melina. Destiny seems to think that as long as he's like, yep, I'm an abuser, deal with it.
Because they're going through some severe fucking psychological abuse, all right? It's a fucking hard thing to deal with. I'm not joking.
That he can just move on from this and sweep it under the rug, but I don't believe he should be allowed to do this. And I don't understand why any woman would ever want to associate with Destiny after seeing shit like this. Destiny not only has a history
and like, I will say, I think a big part of it is people see like the good clips of him, like dunking on conservatives or dunking on Republicans. And he has, like, he knows what the correct positions are, right? I think a big problem is that people just write him off as being stupid, which is the worst thing that you can do to someone who is very intentionally evil. Oh, yes, please, RCP, or RC Pinto. Why won't Kick ban Destiny? Okay, we're talking about Kick here. Let's just be real for 2 seconds. Let's just be real for 2 seconds. I think that there is a lot of people who don't know. They don't see all the bad shit that he's done. They see the good shit and they see like the good clips and they're like, oh, look, he's being based. No. He understands consent. He understands these things. He had a full debate with like this Republican about consent, but he only knows what is the right position. He doesn't actually do those things. He says all the right words. He does all of the right things online. But in his personal life, all that matters is what he wants in the moment. That's it. He doesn't actually uphold any of these principles. So a lot of people see this stuff and they're like, oh, well, surely he'd be like this in his personal life. He wouldn't tell people to act one way and then act a totally different way. Oh, wait, he does. Oh, okay. And then there's a bit of like sunk cost fallacy. And then there's also a little bit of like denial, I would say, where you start, everybody else in the community is downplaying the shit that he's done. So you start to think, well, all of these people that watch him don't seem to think that what he did was so bad. So maybe it wasn't that bad. And it doesn't kick in until you're the person that he's publicly shitting on and you're the person who dares to make an accusation against him, or you have the audacity to disagree with him ever. And then you're public enemy number one. And then you realize, oh, no, yeah, he is a terrible person. Okay. Dude, I'm standing by what I wanted to say initially, and I'm gonna keep saying it over and over and over again. But when fucking Keemstar is on your side, when Tim Pool's on your side, you gotta reevaluate the stuff that you're saying. Tall Rocky, thank you for the prime. Even in the base clips, I've always felt like he's the creep with the ability to talk his way out of anything. I don't know why I read him that way. He's always just giving me the ick. I mean, I think so. I'm doing this predominantly because I want, or I'm watching this video predominantly because I want to bring more attention to PXIE'S fundraiser, and I trust in her to pursue legal action. And I think if you think any of the stuff in here is reprehensible, you should also support her fundraiser, and you should support her lawsuit against him for, you know, sharing pornographic content of her without her consent. Wait, I was going to say something after that. Oh. Sorry, I lost it. I had something I was going to say, and then I just... Can you give chat a one-on-one on how to support victims? I mean, you should, like, read their story. If it feels fair, if the statements are true, if they're all corroborated, which they have been, he's admitted to... I remember what I was going to say. His ability to talk his way out of anything. And then support them financially if you can. But you can read the messages that ended up getting leaked or released after PXIE made her statement about him. And so many of the messages between him and PXIE is him saying, oh, well, just tell me what to say and do, and I'll do it for you to make it up to you. As if that would absolve you of, or even attempt to begin to remedy the harm that you've caused. And even in his statement addressing the sex crime allegations, he writes that, well, clearly she wasn't interested in talking to me anymore, and that's why she's pursuing this lawsuit and blah, blah. It's like, do you think you can just talk someone out of hating you for doing something horrible to them? You can't just say the right words every time and suddenly you never did anything wrong. You can't talk no jutsu your way out of everything every time. You actually should be held accountable for your actions. Like,
allegedly being
Hi,
abusive
Natty Reaper.
himself, he also has a history of surrounding himself with other abusive men. Years ago, the streamer Vosh was exposed by Destiny for sexually harassing a woman named Poppy.
Yeah, so the problem is that we've gotten these complaints for like, I think about a year, where like you've been like really sexually aggressive from a variety of people.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, the worst thing is that you engage in a repeatable pattern of behavior where you try to be very sexually aggressive towards a lot of the women in chat in order to make them uncomfortable enough to send you pictures, and then if they don't, you either act very aggressive towards them, like by telling them that you can't continue conversations anymore, or you continue to sexually harass them until they either give in or block you or go crazy or whatever.
It hasn't, I mean, none of this has happened. That's an extrapolation that you can make based on Poppy.
But even after Destiny found out that Vosh had sexually harassed her, he still decided to be friends with him and platform him and help him start his career. And now, years later, because of Destiny's actions, all of us have had to endure learning about Vosh's horse fetish and his short stack goblin porn. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't look into it.
This is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
and again, it's because like he doesn't actually uphold or agree or believe in any of these things. It's just he doesn't care about any of these things. He only cares once this person has considered themselves an enemy against him.
Later on, after Destiny's relationship with Vosh fell apart, Destiny decided to become friends with a racist named Mr. Girl. And Mr. Girl is not allegedly a racist, he is a racist. He posted a video openly admitting to raping a woman.
A couple years ago, I matched with a woman on Tinder. I say woman because she was 46. Anyway, we got frozen yogurt.
she came over, we got naked, I got naked, then we both got naked. We started making out. Sex kind of makes me anxious, so I don't like a ton of foreplay. To me, it should be like tearing off a Band-Aid, right? I'm trying to be patient. Finally, I get her on top of me. I put my dick in place, like right at her vagina, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. She holds perfectly still and says, I'm not ready. Clear as day, no mistaking her meaning. She doesn't consent. But she has this look in her eye, like she's daring me to just push it in. Like I'm some kind of pussy if I don't. I could have been imagining that, but I grabbed her shoulders and
I'm hating every second of this.
pushed her down onto my dick.
I fucked her.
Did she like that I did that? I think so. She probably had mixed feelings about it. Was it rape? Yes, I guess. I don't know. She told me not to, and I did it anyway. That makes it rape.
I don't know what went through Mr. Girl's head that he thought it was a good idea to openly admit to raping someone on the internet, but that's Mr. Girl for you. Mr. Girl is most well known for his review of the movie Cuties, where he said that he found the 10-year-old girls in that movie hot.
And it juxtaposes these amazing scenes where it's like you'll see the girls playing on a bed where they're stuffing gummy bears in their mouths and they're just totally children. And then you'll see them shaking their booties
let it end,
on
let it
the stairway
end.
as they make this this viral video, and they're pretty hot.
10 years old is 5 years too young for Destiny's taste, but he decided to become friends with Mr. Girl anyway. Mr. Girl also released a bunch of videos where he was like emotionally abusing his girlfriend on camera. After they had been friends for a while, Destiny and Mr. Girl got into some drama because Destiny had banned Mr. Girl from Destiny's subreddit because Mr. Girl was criticizing Destiny for the way that he had defended Nick Fuentes. And then a few months after this, Mr. Girl released a report called the Destiny Report, where he outlined all of the ways that he believes Destiny is an abuser. Most people ignored this report because they didn't really care to listen to a potential abusive pedophile rapist give his opinions on why he thinks Destiny is abusive. The report was also over 100,000 words long, and it was terribly formatted, and honestly, no one had time to read all that shit. And while I personally think that Mr. Girl is a disgusting weirdo, I do think he made a couple decent points in his report. Mr. Girl's main perspective is that he believes Destiny has a pattern of being abusive towards the women in his orbit. And now that we've seen evidence that Destiny has been sharing sex tapes of his orbiters and his ex-wife behind their back without their consent, I think this adds some credence to the idea that there might be a pattern of abuse happening here. In my opinion, Destiny kind of reminds
Only Destiny could have a friend lecture him about his friend.
me of the character of Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, if Dennis was shorter and scrawnier and more annoying.
I didn't know I was being filmed. If you're in my room, you're always being filmed.
You are.
He does.
True.
He does.
It's just always kind of creepy.
In case you haven't seen the show, the character Dennis is known for being a psychopath who's incredibly good at manipulating women.
Oh, look, I'm not narcissistic. That's good. I told you guys I was humble. We're a bit Machiavellian, a bit not psychotic. Psychopath, a bit psychopathic. That's what I'm looking for.
The most famous clip of Dennis is where he explains that if you take a woman out on a boat with you, she won't say no to having sex with you because of the implication.
The whole purpose of buying the boat in the first place was to get the ladies nice and tipsy topside so we can take them to a nice, comfortable place below deck and, you know, they can't refuse because of the implication.
Oh, okay. You had me going there for the first part. The second half kind of threw me.
Well, dude, think about it. She's out in the middle of nowhere with some dude she barely knows. You know, she looks around her. What does she see? Nothing but open ocean. There's nowhere for me to run. What am I going to do? Say no?
Okay, that... that seems really dark.
No, it's not dark. You're misunderstanding me, bro. bro.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are. Because if the girl said no, then the answer obviously is no.
No.
But the thing is she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
Well, in 2020,
What a good show, dude. What a fucking good
Destiny
show.
explains that he doesn't think it would be good for someone who has a large online platform to be sexting the women who he has as guests on his show because of the implication.
Let's say that I run like a really big podcast. I get 30,000 viewers. Let's say that I have a podcast. I got 30,000 viewers. Let's say that there's a girl that messages me. We talk for a little bit and she really wants to be on. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, you really want to come on the podcast, blah, blah, blah. I could probably start sexting her and she'll probably give in and send me nudes and shit because she doesn't want to lose that opportunity. She might not actually want to. She might not be into it really at all. But if I start propositioning her, if she says no to me, she might worry like, fuck, like if I say no to this guy, like I'm not going to make it on that podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then are you wrong for asking in that case? Even though you saw it.
Oh, I see.
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
However, as we now know, Destiny has a long history of doing this exact thing to the women who are guests on his show.
And then he tells his audience to victim blame the women. He has knowingly admitted to having this abusive pattern of behavior over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And time again, his audience is like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been such a whore. Did you consider that, you fucking slut, you dumb whore? It's like, are we in the same universe? We're just, okay, yeah, sure, okay. Sure. To find your live stream. Oh, thank you, Tiniest Violin. Welcome.
I don't like the idea that we're normalizing, someone bringing in a bunch of small content creators that are women, fucking them, right? And then when that fallout inevitably happens, like, just cast them away. Like, it's a really weird dynamic. I work with women, and I'm happy with the fact that it's professional. And that needs to be a standard that we set for more people, because I hate the idea that I just show up on screen with a woman, and it's automatically sex. But can I really be mad at an audience for thinking that when I hang out with Steven, who literally fucks pretty much everybody he works with?
It is possible that like you are like a very like mature person, and even if they turned you down, you're still cool with them being on your podcast. Like there are some people like that, but like not everybody, no one knows. That's the problem. Nobody can ever know that if you're actually that kind of person. That's why it's like a very hazy area where you can't really consent in that situation because you don't really know.
So on the one hand, he is saying that you shouldn't sext with women who are guests on your show because they can't fully consent, and on the other hand, he is sexting with most of the women who are guests on his show and sharing around their sex tapes without their consent. A woman named Lav came forward and said that she felt pressured to send Destiny feet pics in exchange for being a guest on his stream.
At least in my case, I was so desperate to get out of sex work, and I told him that, and he said, why don't you stream with me? This can open up an avenue where, like, you don't have to do what you hate to do. And I'm a political streamer. You can get into politics, like fully extending himself to me in a way that was, like, very friendly. And then it turned into something like, oh, right after that conversation, he was like, oh, by the way, I don't see any feet on your profile, he. Like, immediately after.
Apparently, after she sent him feet pics, he said, welcome to the Orbiters Club, implying that sending her feet pics is what will give her the chance to be one of his orbiters. Now, Destiny claims that this was a completely ironic joke and it wasn't meant to be taken seriously whatsoever, but if Destiny himself has said that he shouldn't be sexting his orbiters because of the implication, and then he sexts his orbiters and then says, welcome to the Orbiter Club, I am struggling to see how this is a joke. And even if it was intended as a joke, like Destiny explained in this previous clip, you shouldn't be making jokes like this because the person on the receiving end might not understand that you're joking. It seems strange to me that Destiny had this incredibly nuanced view of consent a couple years ago, but then once he wanted to start sexting people, all of these rules that he set for himself went out the window.
Now, again, there are exceptions. Maybe you're friends with this person for 10 years or some shit, and you guys have like some, like, there could be like very niche. I don't want to say like every single time, but like as a blanket rule, if you even have to stop and think about this, you should just not do it. It's just a bad idea.
Later on, Lav accused Destiny of being the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube because she felt like Destiny had a pattern of manipulating the women in his orbit into doing sexual favors.
How did they manage to do this? She didn't have to send him the pics, ... He literally admitted that he abuses his power and his privilege to get women to do things that they otherwise would have been uncomfortable with doing. And you just ignored that and then blamed her. Do you hear yourself? Always add an LOL after being a sex pest to automatically get a get out of jail free card. Yeah. Like you're just ignoring it. It's so crazy. It's so like mind-boggling how you can ignore someone admitting to being a complete piece of shit and then continue to blame the victims in situations. I don't get it. She came to a show, he asked for pics, she gave him. You didn't address what I said. Are you not listening to me? He admits to using this as a way to manipulate people. He admits it is manipulative, and he does it on purpose to manipulate people. He admitted that. Are you going to address that? Are you going to address that he manipulates people and he admits to it? Or are you just going to keep saying, well, she sent them, well, she sent them? Yeah, I'm not defending Destiny or his manipulation. This is almost like, these are like some of the most tilting people, some of the most tilting chat messages to read. It's giving very, well, both sides are bad anyways. It's like, okay, man, sure, there's definitely no difference between the badness of sides. Okay. Whatever you say. Yeah, I mean, it is a Schrodinger's douchebag, yeah.
Favors for him, and because she felt like it was emotionally abusive, that every woman who came on Destiny's stream would inevitably be flooded with hate comments on his subreddit, which Destiny would refuse to take down. If you come onto Destiny's stream as a woman, you can be pretty safe to assume that you are gonna get a bunch of hate comments on Destiny's subreddit. But according to Destiny's community, it's not because
it has happened to every single woman that has ever appeared on his stream ever. Consistently. There are always posts, there's always hate threads, there's always hate comments, and he does nothing to manage it. I mean, it's part of the power play for him.
Because they hate women, it's just because these particular women all happen to be too stupid to debate their daddy Destiny. One time, Destiny's head moderator of his subreddit named Forethought sent one of his female orbiters the message, "Kelly Jean, stop pretending like you're hurt by sexism. Your greatest aspiration was being an esports rape victim. Holy fuck, no wonder you wish you got raped. You've got literally nothing going on to be doing this at 40. After seeing these messages,
Still a moderator, by the way.
Destiny refused to remove Forethought as a moderator of his subreddit.
But the whole idea is that if there's no wrong way to treat Kelly Jean or whatever, if that's her mentality when it comes to her, who's to say that doesn't expand to other people?
Like, can we just...
This is Pixie speaking, by the way.
Why is it okay to do whatever you want
to Kelly Jean?
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to ask Destiny that.
I mean, it's Kelly Jean.
That's not that.
Yeah, but if you have that mentality, Destiny, then yeah, he's gonna copy it, isn't he?
I wonder why women don't always feel comfortable on Destiny's subreddit. At the time, Destiny and his community...
You went on Hassan's stream with him. Did you get any hate from Hassan fans like this? I have never... The most hateful Hassan message I've ever gotten, and I'm presuming that it's from a Hassan fan, has been like, you should read more Marx before you speak on this. That's it. Which, honestly, they're right. Like, I should read more. I should. I think the Hassan fans just get mad at me for not being socialist enough. It's not a sexist community. It's not. It's just not a sexist community. They don't hate women for being women. who only abuse Hassan. No, the most hate that you got from Hassan chatters was them calling this an abuela shirt. Why did I revitalize this? Stop. I'm an idiot. Yeah, when I was briefly on a stream, I was trying to say hello to Hassan. The only thing people were saying was that my fit looked really good. Yeah, I mean, like, again, like I said, more importantly, here's the thing, right? You're not going to be able to stop your entire community, especially when you have thousands of viewers. You're not going to be able to stop your entire community from harassing someone. You can't stop every single person. That's unrealistic. But you know what you can do? You can remove moderators that say that your only claim to fame was being a fucking rape victim. If a moderator said that, I would block them on everything. I would say, never speak to me again. Never come here again. You are not welcome. Obviously, your mod privileges are going to be taken away. No, that's not happening. No. If my subreddit had like hate threads going up and it literally just says like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a woman that's been on Hassan's stream recently. Like Caroline. Caroline's a good example. Because she's on semi-frequently. If there was a hate thread and it was like, although like, who could really hate Caroline? Destiny fans. Hate thread on Caroline. God, I fucking hate her. She's so pretty and I fucking stupid, dumb woman. And you just leave that thread up. You are held accountable for leaving that up. You are held accountable for not having mods that take that down. You can't be held accountable for the person who happens to make the post. You can be held accountable for doing absolutely nothing about the rampant sexism and misogyny in your community. And like, I don't... these particular characters in this particular story, trying to decide. Sorry, what I want to say is I am biased against some of the people in this story. I'm not even a Kelly Jean supporter or fan. Like, that's not even someone I like. Someone who has been pretty awful to me, actually. Very unwarranted. I've never done anything mean to them ever. And they've been a pretty terrible person to me. And I've just not talked about it because it's weird to talk about some random person. I don't think that she should deal with fucking moderators saying that no wonder she wished she got raped. No, actually, I think you should stand up for yourself, and I don't think you should deal with that. I don't think you should be okay with people, your so-called friends in your life, laughing about it and saying that that's, well, whatever. No. That's not cool. And I'm sorry you're dealing with that. And I'm sorry you're or have had to deal with that. Yeah, maybe you were taught to me, whatever. It is what it is. People can be mean sometimes. But I'm sorry you had to deal with this. And I'm sorry you are kind of still dealing with this and you're probably going to forever be harassed by these people. Because that's just kind of how it works once you speak to Destiny even once. But you should know you shouldn't deserve to be treated this way. And you shouldn't have a friend, a so-called friend, just laugh at your pain and ignore it and not give a fuck. And I hold this opinion regardless of the person. Because guess what? You don't have to be a perfect victim. You can be a total fucking asshole to me. And if you were victimized, you're still a victim. You don't have to be nice to me. I don't care. I would appreciate it as most people would appreciate it, that's not important to me.
Yeah, he's gonna copy it, isn't he?
I wonder why women don't always feel comfortable on Destiny's subreddit. At the time, Destiny and his community absolutely tore Lav to shreds because they didn't think that she had enough evidence to substantiate the claim that Destiny was the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube. One time when Lav was in the hospital, Destiny sent to his public chat, like, I wish this person would just kill themselves already or fuck off from my shit forever. Destiny even one time shared with his public chat that there was a Kiwi Farms thread being made about Lav. In case you don't know, Kiwi Farms is a message board that is famous for doxing and harassing people they don't like. So by sending Destiny's community to her Kiwi Farms page, Destiny was essentially doxing her. To be clear, I'm not trying to 100% defend Lav here. I think that some of the negative comments about her debating were accurate. I don't think she's a particularly good debater. I also don't think that she necessarily had enough evidence to back up the claim that Destiny is the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube. Although these days I do think there is a lot more evidence pointing to that being the case. She also one time claimed that Hassan had slept with a 17-year-old, which
I was going to mention this if he didn't bring it up already. Like, I'm going to be honest, guys. After a certain point, you've seen enough. Like, how many crimes will one person commit? Or like, how many horrible things will one person do before you're like, okay, I don't think I need to change my opinion on this person. Like, I think I've seen enough stuff from Destiny and from Destiny fans and that entire circle that I really don't think I need to see anything else. Like, I've seen enough bad shit. I've already made up my mind. And at a certain point, I stopped following any of it because it's just more bad shit over and over and over and over again. It's just terrible stuff that I don't want to see. So I don't know really anything about this person, Lav. I do vaguely remember because it was in my sphere. Like, she made a weird criticism about Hassan having sex with a 17-year-old, which is weird, which is very weird. And obviously she didn't have anything to back this up. And Hassan was like, this is a crazy allegation to make against me. I didn't do this. What the fuck? It doesn't change the fact that there have been enough people who have come forward, who have reputable sources, who have evidence of these things, who Destiny has admitted, where Destiny has admitted he's done the things that they say that he's done. That I don't even need to necessarily take into account her story. And I don't have to care about her story or necessarily even believe whatever she's said, because there are enough people who have provided evidence to prove that Destiny is Epstein.
she didn't have any evidence to back up, and then Hassan ended up tearing her to shreds for that. And since then, she has become a TERF who says a bunch of racist and transphobic shit on Twitter. However, I do still think that the treatment she endured from Destiny's community was insane. Being a bad person does not disqualify you from being abused. And if a woman feels like she's being abused by you and your community, I don't think a good way to prove that you're actually not abusive is by telling her to kill herself and doxing her.
And also the other thing that should be very obvious. Destiny admits to doing this. I'm sorry. If you're at the point where you're abusing your wife, now ex-wife, and you're admitting to it and laughing about it, I believe that you would do it to any other women that are in your life. I believe that she was abused. Because that's not something that it requires a high burden of proof, considering you've done it to your ex-wife and literally every single other woman that you've been around, and you've admitted to that.
Destiny's community wrote off Lav as mentally unstable and insane, and because both her and Mr. Girl were widely hated by most people on the internet, most people ignored their allegations that Destiny was abusive. Destiny has a long history of bringing mentally ill women onto his stream, to the point where it's a meme in his community that all of the women on Destiny's stream have BPD. Destiny himself has said that he's most attracted to women who he considers mentally unstable.
This dude really has a penchant for going after mentally ill women. Okay, women with like severe depression, and a lot of them got like self-diagnosed BPD or some bullshit. Like, he just likes that. I don't know. To me, the fact that there's a pattern with a lot of these girls is a bit weird.
But the question is, does Destiny just happen to attract a bunch of mentally unstable women to his stream, or does he purposefully attract mentally unstable women because he knows they are more easy to abuse?
I mean, if I may be so bold, this is literally this is like the Nigerian prince scam email. It has typos on purpose. It's meant to attract a very particular person, and if you ask too many questions, they stop responding to you. You're not their target audience. I also would be, this might be a little bit more controversial, but I would also suggest that honestly, most people online, men and women, are more likely to be neurodivergent and or mentally ill. Usually, if you're not really conforming with the norm in the outside world, you come to the internet. I was a very socially anxious teenager who struggled with making friends, and I was very annoying. Some of it was on me, some of it wasn't on me, okay? And I came to the internet because there were fun games, and I already enjoyed playing games, and there were people on the internet that didn't care if I wasn't on cam or wasn't on voice, and I could just do whatever I wanted. And it was like my home for a very long time, because I struggled to fit in with people in the real world, because I didn't have the same hobbies. I didn't care about physical sports or activities. I didn't care about going to concert. I wanted to watch anime and play video games. The internet was made for me. So I think there are a lot of people like that that come to the internet. I also didn't shower. Yes, I was a really stinky teenager. BPD. And I think a lot of other people are on the internet because of that same reason. And it's very easy to just like hand wave all these people and be like, oh, well, mentally ill, insane bitch, moving on. As if this person potentially having BPD or being neurodivergent or whatever changes the fact that you did horrible shit to them. That doesn't magically make it okay or make it warranted or fair or any of those things. And also, let me just say, like, if everywhere you go it smells like shit, dude, check your shoe. I don't have this problem where I can only attract insane people in my life. Has it happened? Yes, yes, yes. I've become friends with some wacky people. Some very wacky people. And I understand how people can continue to be friends with wacky characters. And it's just you have a lot of like love for this person and you remember all the good times and you don't want to move away from that friendship, right? Because you want to keep what you have and you like what you have. But you have to grow up, right? You have to grow up and realize, oh man, this person is not good. I got to get them out of my life. To be like 35 and being like, oh, it's not my fault that I just keep attracting crazy people. Okay.
Another mentally ill woman that Destiny had a long conflict with was a woman named Anna. Just like with Lav, Destiny also encouraged his community to go to Anna's Kiwi Farms thread, and he encouraged them to post in her thread.
Oh, okay. Also, heads up. This is my only non-media blackout time, okay? This is my only non-media blackout time. I will immediately back this, okay? Somebody on Kiwi Farms has made a thread of Anna. So if you are obsessed with Anna and you want to talk about her all the time, you, chatter, you can actually go to Kiwi Farms And you can go and post all you want, read all you want, go there, post about it, talk about it. People put a lot of effort into categorizing and archiving everything. There you go, okay?
And in the thread about Anna that Destiny encouraged his fans to go message, they doxed Anna. And it was later revealed that at this time, Destiny was secretly in an ongoing sexual relationship with Anna.
So you acknowledge that you've been sexting with her for a year?
I think, yeah, we've had on and off, sure.
In response to this, Anna texted Destiny, "You literally ruined my fucking life. You just doxed me on your stream. Fuck you. You put me in danger." And Destiny responded to this by saying, "You're doing it to yourself and you're going to keep doing it to yourself." This is one of the most insane things I have ever seen in my entire life. Choosing to dox a woman you are actively sexting with just because she pissed you off. I guess if you want to live life by Destiny's rules, if your wife or girlfriend or friends with benefits ever pisses you off, why not just dox her to hundreds of thousands of people? I also want to be clear that I'm not defending Anna.
It's just so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. I have some people that I don't like. And in fact, I really don't like them. There's a lot of streamers that I really don't like. And what I think is fair is when they say things that I think are stupid, I put the clip on stream and I make fun of them. And I will admit, sometimes I will put clips on streams of people I don't like because I am enjoying making fun of them, okay? This is true. I admit this. At this point, I must admit, a small part of me enjoys just the act of making fun of Ethan Klein. Because it's so easy and it's really funny. I am not claiming to do any of that coverage for the greater good. That is objectively just because I think it's a little bit funny, okay? I think it's a little funny and that's why I do it. Doxing someone, harassing them for years, sending your audience to them, sending your audience to kiwi farms so that they can contribute to this hate campaign. That's insane. That's crazy. I understand disliking people on the internet. If you make content on the internet, chances are eventually you'll start to dislike someone or dislike a different person, blah, 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 blah. I think a lot of the people, for example, who made fun of pirate software, they did it just because they didn't like the guy. I don't think they were trying to stand up for what's right and wow. I think they just didn't like the guy and that's why they made fun of him. And honestly, a little bit mean, but also... Okay, I mean, yeah. Sometimes you get bullied. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, sometimes you say silly shit and people make fun of me for it. I've had it happen to me plenty of times in real life and on the internet. There's a major difference. There's a huge jump.
Don't realize when they are in a hate brigade.
There's a huge jump from making fun of someone for doing something stupid or doing something funny to like putting them in actual harm's way. I don't even know what to say. Like, I mean, I just like in awe.
Also has a long history of harassing Steven, which is obviously not good, but Destiny also treated Anna like garbage. He not only doxed her, but he also threatened to leak her nudes when she threatened to leak sext messages between the two of them to prove that Destiny had been lying about her.
So do you think that leaking sexting and leaking nudes is proportional, or do you think it's a proportional response in the way that you're reacting to that?
I think it's about proportional, yeah. Thanks.
You don't think that she has more to lose in that scenario? Like, you think that people were going...
Oh, like, I mean, she could have more to lose, but I just don't see the huge difference between, like, sex and nudes. Like, you're leaking, like, personal, like, sexual shit that somebody sent you and, like, trusted you with. Like, in my opinion, this is like one of the biggest forms of like weird, like backstabbing shit that you can do. It's like one of the worst things a person can do is like leaking like private sexual shit like that.
I love you, Tom.
So Anna had stalked and harassed Destiny, and Destiny had lied about Anna and threatened to leak her nudes and sent his fans to a website that doxed her. This is a situation where they were both clearly in the wrong, but I think this situation sent a message to Destiny's previous sexual partners that if you get onto Destiny's bad side, he will not be afraid to threaten to leak your nudes and send his fans to a website that doxes you. Looking back at Destiny's streams from over the years, I found at least 20 different women who had allegedly had some sort of sexual relationship with Destiny at some point, and I found at least 15 different previous female orbiters who now all hate Destiny's guts, and Destiny now labels them as crazy. The fact that Destiny has had sex with a bunch of his orbiters and now a bunch of them hate him doesn't necessarily prove abuse, but what I do know is that Destiny is not living by the standard he expects.
What a crazy world to live in, by the way. Like having sex with people and then they hate you afterward. That's like... American Psycho type shit. Fuck off. Flocky, thank you for the gifts of Goa. Thank you for the 3 months. Jordy, thank you for the 2 months. I feel like Batman. Thank you for the Prime. Thanks, guys. That would mess me up.
Other people to live by. Again, he said himself that you should not sext people who are guests on your platform because they might not be able to fully consent because of the implication.
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
And at the very least, he has totally and utterly failed at living up to this standard of conduct that he expects other people to live by. I think we would need more evidence to concretely prove that Destiny's stream really is this system of abuse. But all I know is that there are at least 4 alleged victims and a whole host of other women who absolutely hate Destiny's guts, so I would recommend that women should stay as far away from Destiny's community as possible.
If you know that the people you're going to be involved with are only short-term partners, and you constantly see the after effect of most of your hookups and your interactions leaving a trail of broken hearts and disappointed people, that's a moral failing.
All right, let's recap all of Destiny's treatment towards women. Destiny sexually assaulted a woman. Destiny has a long history of sharing women's nudes and sex tapes without their consent. Destiny allegedly...
Why can't Bixie go to the police and press charges? Who's to say that she won't?
recorded a woman having sex with him without her consent, and in his messages to his Discord kitten Rose is Coming, he sent her audio recordings of men that he had slept with from Grindr and said, "I went out and sucked a guy off a few nights ago and recorded the audio. It's really scuffed in my pocket, lol. Did I ever send it to you?" If he was recording the audio from his pocket, it sure doesn't sound like that audio was recorded consensually, does it? Maybe he did ask if he could record him, but then he put the phone back in his pocket where the audio would sound terrible for some reason, but I highly, highly, highly doubt that. And if he was recording men from Grindr without their knowledge, it's also very easy to believe that he was recording Cherry without her knowledge. He has a history of calling 15-year-olds attractive and sharing pictures of them in bikinis. He has a long history of getting very mad at women when they post about their sexual assaults on social media. He has allegedly abused at least one of his female orbiters and was psychologically abusive towards his ex-wife, and he also admitted to choking out another one of his exes multiple times. However, he claims that this was done in self-defense.
Because you better fucking believe I had to fucking choke her out a few fucking times.
Finally, Destiny has a history of doxing and threatening to leak the nudes of women that get on his bad side. I find this incredibly ironic because in his Keffels manifesto, he says that progressives believe there's no such thing as bad tactics, only bad targets.
And what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets?
Well, if you ask me, doxing women and threatening to leak their nudes is the definition of bad tactics that you should not be doing even if you think that woman is a valid target. If you add up all of these allegations, I think it's time to consider that maybe Destiny is just not a good fucking person. Maybe he's your typical male feminist and all of the liberal bullshit that he spews on his platform is just him trying to get into women's pants. Before it had been publicly exposed that Destiny had shared PXIE'S sex tapes without her consent, in private he acknowledged that he had severely, at the very least psychologically, damaged her. But once PXIE came out with her allegations publicly and announced that she was planning to sue Destiny, he went back to his old defensive ways and took accountability for nothing. He posted to his subreddit, "Legal arc beginning in mysterious ways. Such wow."
Okay, but have you thought about Hassan bad? Fuck. Oh my god, I'm getting epically owned. I didn't even consider that Hassan is bad. Fuck, dude, shit.
Which is the most millennial cringe way possible to respond to allegations of sex crimes. In this post, he never takes direct accountability for sharing PXIE'S sex tapes with Rose's Coming without her consent, and instead he focuses on how he's a victim too because his nudes were also leaked by the hacker that apparently hacked Rose Is Coming. Obviously, Destiny is also a victim in this situation, but I struggle to find empathy for him because he refuses to take accountability for sharing the sex tapes non-consensually in the first place, which led to this entire mess. He also talks about how PXIE was asking him for a large amount of money because she was trying to teach him a lesson, and I don't necessarily see anything wrong with her wanting to teach Destiny a lesson. Maybe he needs to be taught a lesson. PXIE made the point that unless there are some real consequences to Destiny for doing this, he'll probably just do it again in the future, which I agree with. Destiny later sent to his public chat, "PXIE and the people behind her just want money." Yet this is a blatant lie because she made it abundantly clear to Steven that she would be willing to donate the money he gave her to charity. So just like usual, Destiny is attempting to smear.
To be very clear, PXIE, listen to me when I say this, right? Listen to me clearly, concisely, okay? When you sue him and you get every penny that you can get, you don't have to donate it to charity. You are allowed to keep the money for your emotional damages, for your mental distress of having your porn leaked online without your consent. You can absolutely keep that shit. That shit's yours, okay? You use the money that you are getting from fundraising to sue him, and whatever you get from there, that's fucking yours. Do not let anyone tell you that you have to donate it. Okay? You have every legal and moral right to keep that shit.
D&M balls.
And everyone who is in your camp knows that that was a statement that you were making to show that you are hurting bad because of what he's done. So do not let anyone morally shame you into being like, oh, well, you said you were going to donate it, so why aren't you donating it? Why aren't you donating it? Why aren't you donating it? Those are fucking losers. They need to get a life. I know that you have opened up and talked about being extremely suicidal. I think you meet the qualifications for experiencing mental distress. Okay?
His victim in order to silence her, even though in my opinion PXIE has done absolutely nothing wrong. And I think this shows incredible moral character on PXIE's part that she's even willing to donate this money to charity because I don't think she has any obligation to do this. But even with PXIE being basically the quote-unquote perfect victim, Destiny still decides to smear her. My favorite sentence from this post is when Destiny says, "I have been trying to move on from covering drama content as it has had an increasingly negative impact on those in my my life. Bitch, you loved covering drama content when it was other people's heads on the chopping block, but now you want to stop covering drama once your head is on the chopping block. After this, Destiny sent some messages to his chat that were even more defensive. I have never done anything maliciously, as any of the fucking insane allegations say. That's fucking retarded. My only crime was being too much of a gooner in 2023 and earlier, 100% sure. Though again, I can't say anything specifically because everyone wants to come at me in court now, I guess. When he says that he didn't do anything maliciously, I think he means that he didn't intend for PXIE'S nudes to ever get leaked to the public, but I would argue that non-consensually sending her sex tapes in the first place was malicious in and of itself. And again, I think Destiny would agree with me that sharing the nudes in and of itself is malicious because he said that when Bob7 allegedly did the same thing, this should be life-destroying.
But I do believe that these are relatively life-destroying revelations.
And you are not fucking stupid, Destiny. You know that if you're sending around sex tapes to random 19-year-old e-girls, eventually something is going to get leaked.
You know, actually, one of the craziest parts about this whole story is the fact that Destiny trusted a 19-year-old Discord lady, okay, named Rose is Coming, with sex tapes of other people in his life. Nigga. If that's not compromised judgment, I don't know what the fuck is, okay?
Also, your only crime is being too much of a gooner? Destiny's just a little bit of a goofy gooner. It's not like he committed any serious sex crimes. He's just a little gooner goblin. Look at my gooner goblin over there in the corner gooning. As usual, every single thing that Destiny says is an attempt to downplay, and refuse to take any fucking accountability. Then Destiny sent this to his chat. Bro, if I need to go on the sex offender list, I'm taking like 20 other streamers with me, okay? Lol W. Again, trying to deflect from taking responsibility by saying that a bunch of other streamers have done the same shit. If other streamers have done the same shit, then yeah, maybe they should be on the sex offender registry. Recently, another clip of Destiny resurfaced where he talked about how he knew that a bunch of different streamers had committed sex crimes against children, but he just didn't care to expose any of them.
Like, everybody's gotten pics and more from underage chicks, depending on what you've heard in different communities. No, let me finish. In the esports community, okay, everybody has been involved in that shit, okay? And there have been people that have gone way farther than that.
Do you know people in the esports community
I'm not,
that have...
yeah, but I'm not going down that road. There's tons of rumors.
No, wait a minute. If you're saying you have knowledge of a crime and you're not willing to bring it forward...
Well, people talk about it, but like I don't have the means to go and acquire the evidence to like name names and name victims.
Break
and, like, find...
Dorito Gate right now, Destiny. Come on. Let's hear it.
This is not my job. Listen, okay, I'm gonna be frank. I'm not gonna suicide my fucking career to go on some fucking vendetta against a bunch of fucking video game guys, okay? This is not my life.
But now that his head is on the chopping block, I guess maybe he'll finally expose these abusers that he's been covering for years. And the last thing that Destiny has posted at the time of this recording was an absolutely hilarious meme on Twitter where he said, "Korean barbecue is a little overrated, but I've always loved the short rib at this place." And it's a picture of a Korean restaurant called Goon Barbecue. Again, implying that he's just too much of a gooner because gooner sounds a lot better than sex criminal. He is choosing to be his same old self, making jokes instead of taking accountability. This motherfucker has the absolute gall to release an entire manifesto about how Keffels needs to take accountability for her actions, but then once he's in shit, he takes absolutely no fucking accountability for his actions. Like, is this dude an actual fucking baby? Are you a child? In what fucking world is this the right way to respond to the fact that you violated one of your friends and, in your own words, severely psychologically damaged her? Never in a million years could I imagine being a soulless, heartless piece of shit like this who treats my best friends like actual human garbage. And for you to get up on your high horse and act like you're the moral police of the universe who has any place to judge other people while acting like this is fucking insane.
You know, with this whole situation, I don't think Steven shared this because he thought it was okay to share. I personally believe, this was my theory.
I remember the famous clip of Hassan when he was approached by someone who said they were 17, immediately got up and walked away. It's telling how differently real people with real morals act and those who don't have any act. Mighty Max, thank you for the tier 1 and the 2 gifts of Video Fuzz. Thank you for the Prime. Doctor, thank you for the tier 1.
That he shared this.
I know that it was a joke clip. But like,
because he just didn't care and he didn't think that the other person would ever find out. And that to me is almost worse.
Sorry, I didn't finish the thought. Sorry. He was walking away because of the joke. He wasn't in on the joke. She was making a joke and he was like, dude, no, don't make that joke, dude. It's not funny. No. Even the idea of joking about it is like, dude, stop.
Because it shows that you don't care about the people you slept with and who shared that intimate moment with you and recorded it. And it shows to me that if you are going to be able to avoid the consequences of it, you'll say and do things behind closed doors that are just unbecoming. And if I'm your friend and I see you do that to your other people that you slept with and you call friends, then I can only imagine that even for me, I might not be safe and I can't trust you. And what I see is another more failing where it's like, when no one's watching, you're not doing the right thing. You can massage it however you want. It's a shitty thing to share a sex tape, but it's not the worst thing. I'm sorry.
Like, hear yourself. Like, hear yourself.
Garbage behavior, okay? It just is. Call it a spade. It's garbage behavior. Don't mush it over because you like your favorite streamer. Don't mush it over because you think he's important politically. It's garbage behavior.
Right before uploading this video, another woman named Stasia just came out with allegations that Destiny shared explicit material of her without her consent. And a woman named Denims just came out with an allegation that Destiny had recorded her without her knowledge. This recording was non-sexual, but apparently it's illegal to record people without their knowledge in that state. Destiny chose to ignore Stasia's allegations for some reason.
Which, by the way, he admitted to literally within 24 hours.
But in response to Denims' allegations, he sent messages to his public chat threatening to leak the recordings of her in an attempt to silence her, showing that he is still engaging in the exact same behavior as always. So now we have 4 different women who Destiny allegedly shared nudes of without their consent, 1 woman that Destiny sexually assaulted, 1 woman who felt pressured into sending Destiny feet pics, 1 woman who Destiny allegedly recorded sexually without her knowledge, 2 men on Grindr who Destiny allegedly recorded sexually without their knowledge, and 1 woman who was recorded non-sexually without her knowledge, for a grand total of 10 different victims that we know of so far. And this is of course not including the 15-year-old girl that Destiny shared bikini pictures of, or the 8-year-old boy whose penis Destiny stared at. When will Destiny's community, DGG, wake the fuck up and realize that Destiny is just not a good person? I know that I said that I wouldn't focus on my personal beef with Destiny in this video, but I wanted to just point out one thing. I found it really funny that in his Vosh manifesto, he cries about how people online have attacked him for identifying as non-binary in the past.
Many have attacked me in the past for identifying as a non-binary. I no longer identify this way, even though I've considered different sexual or gender identities and discussed it at length at various points in my stream.
Destiny and his community have been harassing me for years about identifying as non-binary. He said that he doesn't think my identity is real, and he tweeted that I'm faking being trans for clout, and I've had a bunch of his fans come and make fun of me anytime that I post about being non-binary, which made me feel like I had to go back into the closet at one point. But when people attack Destiny for being non-binary,
many have attacked me in the past for identifying as a non-binary.
It really hurts his feelings. This is just another example of Destiny being a hypocritical little bitch who cries when people are mean to him and then turns around and does that exact same shit to other people. If you want to be an asshole to non-binary people, be an asshole to non-binary people. But then don't be a weaselly little bitch who turns around and cries when people are an asshole to you about being non-binary. Destiny is the perfect example of rules for thee, but not for me. He says Bob 7 should have his life destroyed for sharing nudes without consent.
I'm not running around screen sharing people's nudes.
Then he shares nudes without consent. He criticizes Keffals for being a bully while he's the biggest fucking bully on the internet. He cries about how people on the internet have doxed him, and then he turns around and doxes a woman who he is secretly in an active sexual relationship with. He says it's not good to sext women who are on large streams.
I think it is wrong. Yeah, I don't think you should.
And then he turns around and sexts every single fucking woman on his large stream. He says it's super weird to sex 19-year-olds because they're basically children.
You're a little kid.
And then he fucking sexts a 19-year-old. He says we need to hold Keffals responsible for her actions, and then he takes absolutely no fucking responsibility for his actions. My worst crime was being too much of a gooner. If you go back and rewatch this entire video, do you agree with Destiny that his worst crime is just being too much of a gooner? Destiny, you are not too much of a gooner, you are a sex criminal. To this day, Destiny is still refusing to fully take accountability for his actions, as he has done through every single fucking step of his career. According to Destiny, he really hates weasels. He even has a weasel emote that people spam in his chat whenever someone is trying to weasel their way out of an argument or is refusing to take accountability for their actions. Well, Destiny, I think you should get this emote tattooed on your fucking forehead. You are a weak, pathetic little weasel, and I hope that everyone has finally opened their eyes to how much of a wriggling little weasel you always have been. I hope that after this, you take a long look in the mirror and you realize that you actually have a lot more in common with Keffals than you would ever care to admit to yourself. You have both lied to and scammed your audience, you are both massive bullies, you both aren't afraid to use harmful tactics to get what you want, and most of all, you both have a pathological need to avoid ever taking accountability. So, from now on, I shall be referring to you as Keffals. How's that for a nuke, buddy? Anything else? Really quick before the video ends, I've linked the fundraiser for Pixie to sue Destiny down below.
And it
If
has
you would
also
consider
been linked
donating
many
to that,
times
I
in
would
chat.
appreciate it so much. If this
The only reason that this is probably going to be the last time I talk about Destiny, because honestly, it causes me brain damage to even consider him or remember that he exists. But I wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about Pixie's lawsuit. And I think that she really will move forward with the lawsuit. And I think she has a very good chance. And I think that if she pursues this lawsuit, she can get a lot of other women who have been hurt or wronged by him to also jump on the bandwagon. That if she can do a lot of the heavy lifting for a lawsuit, a lot of other women have their journey for a lawsuit be a lot less painful. And it is very rare that I promote people's GoFundMes or that I promote people's personal fundraisers, mostly because I feel a responsibility to not scam you guys by pushing you to donate to a cause that I cannot verify is legitimate. And that is the primary reason why there are very few fundraisers that we have here. But I think this is one person who I think will pursue this, and I would not push for a fundraiser if I didn't believe that she had one, very good chance, and that she was, two, taking all of the steps necessary to pursue this lawsuit. So if you were convinced by anything in this video or by anything I've said, please, if you have $5 or something, donate it. I think that she has a very good shot at this, and my heart is with her and all the other victims who have had non-consensual, pornographic or intimate content be shared without their consent. She's been severely harmed. So I do want you guys, if you can, I understand if not everyone can, that's okay, but you have to understand people like this will keep going, and they will continue to use their platform for as much evil shit as possible over and over and over and over again until they are held accountable for their actions. And that is why I'm asking you guys, if you can, to donate, because if nobody holds him accountable, what's to stop him from doing it? Like, what is to stop him from doing it? He's clearly had no problem doing it for the past decade. And I wish I could share more with you guys, and I hope that Pixie shares more with everybody else, which I believe that she will be doing soon. Anyone who's dealt with any legal proceedings ever knows how time-consuming it is and how much time is spent just talking to lawyers. But give her some time, and I think that she will provide more evidence and proof and show documents, legal documents showing that she is actively pursuing this lawsuit. The donation might have a small error right now. Okay, well, if it's not working right now, maybe try again in a little bit. Just keep the tab open when you get a chance, refresh it and see if it works. But yeah, more will spawn if they aren't held accountable. Yeah. We broke the link. Yeah. It's possible we broke the link accidentally. Yeah. But yes, and even shitty people who have participated, even shitty people who have worked with Destiny, people who are actively being harmed with them. You guys know my policy. It's always been the same policy. Don't waste your time with sending harassment. You have better things to do. And like, keep in mind that like a lot of these people are victims of their situations. Like, I personally don't like some of the people involved. And I personally am not a big fan of some of the victims. It doesn't change the fact that they were victims. Their actions don't change that for me. They are victims of someone who actively admits to using their platform as a way to manipulate the people around them. And I think also Destiny is someone who thrives off of people talking about inane shit. And he thrives off of people pushing next controversy, next controversy, next controversy. And he's very good at flooding the internet with garbage to get people to stop talking about the things that he doesn't want them to talk about, which is why conversations about this are being actively suppressed. So in a show of support to Pixie and in a show of respect to the victims, I probably will not be talking about Destiny again anytime soon. I have no intention of drama farming. I think that he's an insane person, and I think that he is a drama farmer, and I think don't feed the trolls, right? And I will only speak about him. Please do not link me random stupid shit that he says. He says stupid shit all the time. I only plan on talking about him in the future, in the context of Pixie actively pursuing this lawsuit, or anyone else, any other victims actively pursuing lawsuits, because I'm very lucky to have a platform, and I want to be able to push for genuine good. And I think this is a good use of my platform. And I refuse to engage in bait and trolls and whatever. So yeah, that's what I just want you guys to know, the plan going forward.